Welcome to the BRP podcast. I'm your host, Steve Haley. And believe it or not, we are back in the Bonnie View Mansion. We are coming to you from the Pool Room Studios, and I have my illustrious co-host here with me. He's grizzled today. In front of him is a quarter of a bottle of Pedialyte. At least that's what's left. He had a rough evening, came to my bar last night. He's got a hot pink cup of coffee as well. So, I mean, he's getting there, but he's got a smile on his face. He's ready to do the pod today, and we have an unbelievable guest. So, how you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing good. As you've said on many podcasts, I'm a little hungover today.
Yeah, I've said that about you and myself. So it's been, that's kind of really the core of our friendship. That's, I think, as they would say, in building the cornerstone.
Yeah, we need help.
Yes, we do. So literally get on Patreon, rehab ain't cheap. Okay. We're trying to go to one of the nice ones in like Malibu or something like that. Please donate. And I'm sure that there will be other bartenders at rehab that we can interview.
Absolutely.
So it'll be a win-win, This industry certainly makes people a little bit jaded and definitely grinds them down into a pulp at times. But we have an unbelievable guest for you today. We have Emily Unkle joining us. She's a Spitfire bartender. I met her because her and her wonderful husband Ben came and visited me in my bar. And man, she just had me rolling laughing. I was like, this is somebody that can get on the pod because she can talk. And so really excited to have her. And she's got a little bit of a mix up on the drink for us today. So I'm excited to get you guys into that. Before we do, Mike, as always, what's new, baby?
Well, we're back in Maryland.
Fuck yes, we are back in Maryland.
Just haphazardly, I had to come out here for work, so it worked out really well that we got to be here. And you had an update. We also have to, we've got to level with the people because...
Well, let's do that first.
Okay, all right.
Let's do that first. So guys, I know, as we always say, Mike and I are learning. We're trying to get better at this. The fact of the matter is, we're not good at it. We're not, but we hope you're enjoying it. We say this because we know the last couple pods, our openers have been along. We're going to keep it tight. We're going to keep it very tight today.
It's not even the openers. Thank you all for listening and getting it on the social media. The last 3 episodes we did, a lot of fun. I had a great time, but I was a little drunk for the last couple of them. And, we always tell our guests, we got to put them through the gauntlet. I feel like you and I have made it through the gauntlet. This is episode 11, but oh my God. These last 10 episodes, it was a learning curve. There was a lot of, skullduggery and everything else that went on. And thank you all for listening. Thanks for, and my voice is a little gone today. Thank you all for growing with us here. But within 30% of our episodes, I've been drunk. It's unacceptable, okay?
And the other and about 25% I've been drunk.
And the thing is, we're doing this podcast because it's a lot of fun. I'm having such a good time doing it, and we're going to keep doing it because it's just a good time. But we appreciate you spending your time with us. We know that there are, how many podcasts are there out there? Yeah. How many, there's so many other things you could be listening to. So thank you so much for spending some time with us. And people, I owe it to you to not be a drunk asshole.
Okay. Couple things. We're doing it again. We're already going too long. We said we were going to keep it tight. Okay. Number 2, you're yelling.
I'm sorry.
Why are you yelling?
I'm sorry. Well, it's all the coffee and the honey, okay? All right.
I thought it was the Pedialyte.
All right, so here's
and the cocaine.
Here's what we're going to do, people, all right? Steve and I on air right now, and Emily as our witness, we're going to make a bet right now, okay?
Yes, we are.
And you said 25 episodes, right?
I think 25 is a good number.
I said 50. Steve cut it down to 25. So when he's complaining on episode 25, he only has himself to blame. What we're going to do is if I cannot make it to episode 25 sober, then what we're going to do is Steve is going to slap me on air. Full,
we're going to videotape it.
We'll videotape it. We'll put it up on, our social media. On the flip side, when I obviously make it to episode 25 completely sober through the rest of these episodes, what we're going to do is episode 25, Steve is going to have to take a shot for every question in the gauntlet.
It's going to be a rough day.
And it's going to be a shot of my choice. So we're going to do 10 shots.
Wait, does it change?
Oh, yeah.
Multiple different types of shots?
Yes.
No, you got to pick one alcohol.
No, I don't. We'll leave this. We'll
adjudicate this later.
Yeah, but and we'll have a medic on scene, so everything.
No medic on scene. Give me an IV.
That's what we're gonna do. So we're tightening it up for you people. Thank you again for spending some time with us. We're getting this shit locked down. Steve, back to you.
All right, so you guys heard that. 25 episode slap bet. If Mike gets too wasted on another pod, I slap him. If he makes it to 25, I'll take the gauntlet shot by shot. I'm sure that's going to be fun. That also might be when the pod ends. So anyway, before this comes to a crashing halt and we burn it to the ground, as Mike said on the last episode, we're going to get right into it. Thank you for being patient with us. And without further ado, Emily Unkle. All right, guys, we have Emily Unkle here with us. How are you, Em?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I am fucking pumped. And let me say, before we really get into Emily's background in the Gauntlet, she came prepared. I appreciate this.
No, don't tell them that. I'm such a nerd.
I'm not gonna listen. We won't go into it. The girl's got notes. I'm telling you. So many of our bartenders have come on, and I'll ask them a question, and they look at me like they didn't know we had a podcast. I said, "We're 30 minutes in. What the fuck is your problem?" So I love that you came prepared.
Absolutely.
It means a lot to us.
I'm a note taker. I love a good Post-it note, and any type
Yes.
of color coordination literally eats at my heart. I'm honestly honored to be your witness for this bet that you have just made. So when 25 does commence, can I just be here to see all of this unfurl? Because I'm kind of hoping you get slapped.
Yes,
Is
it's
that
not gonna
terrible?
happen.
Is
We'll
that
invite you
bad?
back.
Keep dreaming. 'Cause it's not gonna...
So let me tell you a little something, Emily. We, like I said, Mike and I have been friends for a long time. We got a really a close knit friend group, and slap bets are a really important thing in our friend
That's a
group.
thing with dudes.
Yes.
Like, women don't slap each other. But dudes, this is like your thing. That is all you guys. You
Yes.
keep it. I love that
Now,
for you.
the other thing is, like, we take slap bets, I think, more seriously than most. There's really like a corporate kind of structure to it. You know, we meet with HR, we get everything in writing. So I have to say, Mike has been involved in a lot of slap bets over the years that he's had 100% control of. Literally making bets where he can control everything and he still loses. Okay?
God, bless your heart.
The last time I saw him lose a slap bet was at a music festival down in the mountains of Arkansas called Hillberry. And Mike got slapped so hard that his tooth broke in half and popped out of his mouth.
It's not a joke. Literally, my Dirty Tom, smacked me in the face and my molar broke.
Yeah.
And he hit me and I was like, you just broke my tooth. And for the rest of the festival, my tooth was falling out. I went to the dentist. They were like, yeah, it's going to be $900 to remove that. I'm like, yeah, fuck that. That's not happening.
Can we just back up?
Wait,
You really breezed over the point that you got your tooth broken by a dude named Dirty Tom.
So
That's
he was
my sticker.
he was recently just on the show. That's right,
amazing.
guys. Episode 8, Dirty Tom. Give it a listen.
But I got a pair of pliers and I just yanked it out. It actually wasn't as bad as it sounds, and I'm good.
He's a psycho.
All right,
It
so
didn't-
you're
it
a
didn't-
sociopath, so I'm going to go.
Did I
I'm
mention
not
it?
safe here.
He's from Southeast Kansas. Did I mention this? No, but seriously, this is what I'm saying. Mike has had all control of this bet, and he still finds a way to lose. So when we say a 25 episode slap bet, folks, this is not fucking around. Like Mike get turned around like a rock'em sock'em robot in about a couple months from now. But
Not gonna happen.
we're running away again with the pod. We're not letting Emily shine.
My bad.
So let's get back to it. So Em, you have decided to mix it up, and that makes sense because I can already tell that your personality is a little bit unique, and you're a wild card. You're an exception to the rule. So I love the fact that you have put a new spin on our drink this week. What are we drinking today?
It's the Flying Dog Raging Bitch. I wanted something super easy. It's 10:30 in the morning, so if I'm going to start drinking, like, I want something that's going to have a little bit of girth to it. Oh, I don't like that I use
Girth.
girth. Sorry. But
Hold
I
on.
figured
For
just
all-
like a good...
For all of our ASMR listeners,
Oh.
moist,
Fuck you.
limousine. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, it's just the Flying Dog Raging Bitch. It's one of my all-time favorites. And the last thing that I want to do on my day off is fix a cocktail. So I would rather just pop a bottle open and drink a beer.
Guys, that's a real bartender right there. She's so sick of serving all you twats out there, that when she gets her day off, she's just going to pop some bottles. And nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
So why don't you get Mike and yourself and I...
Mike, are you done with your Pedialyte? Are you ready to move on?
I'm ready to
You
move
got
on.
it? I believe in you.
So while Em is passing these out, I just want to give you guys a little bit of background. For all of you non-Maryland residents, and Marylanders will recognize the Flying Dog, this is a hometown or home state brew, I should say. It's from Frederick, Maryland, about 30 to 45 minutes west of Baltimore City. It's a fairly new brewery, all in all. They've been doing it for about, I'd say, 25, 30 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
They've been in business. The coolest thing about Flying Dog Brewery, to me, has always been the artwork. They have these amazing labels. And anybody from Maryland, in your head that Flying Dog logo, the V, the bat, like the little bat that's flying above Flying Dog. It is so iconic. Every single one of their different beers. And that's really, I think the first one I ever had was the Pearl Necklace, which is the Oyster Stout,
Yep.
which is still my favorite. But the cool thing about it is for anybody that's really a big artwork fan, I'm going to put some of this stuff up this week on our social media. If you've ever seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and you're familiar with Hunter S. Thompson, the same artist that did all of the artwork for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, that ended up doing all the artwork for all of Hunter S. Thompson's books after that and throughout his career, a guy named Ralph Steadman, who is so unique.
He's so cool.
Like,
his labels are insane.
Yeah, it's like a fever dream.
Fever dream, that's what I called it. I said nightmare, but fever dream I feel like is even better.
It's a bad acid trip. That's the way to kind of describe his drawings. And so he actually got commissioned to do all the artwork for Flying Dog. So get on their website, check them out. I'm going to post some of our favorites and some of Ralph's best work, and I'm sure you guys are going to recognize it. His picture of Gonzo smoking the long cigarette is, I think, the most iconic thing he's ever done. But anyway, let's get right into it, guys. Let's cheers it up here. So happy to be here.
It's funny, I'm actually reading Hell's Angels right now.
Are you really?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite books of all time. Jesus, Michael. Jesus. Mike's spilling his beer.
Lock it up.
10:30.
That is a raging bitch right there.
It's delicious. This actually slaps better in the morning. I'm going to have to start drinking these before work. All right. So, Em, let's talk about work. We always like to start with what we call our drinked-in. So, young professionals, they're trying to be impressive online. This is different. We're bartenders, right? So, the drinked-in is your service industry LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit of how'd you get into the service industry? What's the extent of your service industry experience? And then, do you still currently work in it? And tell us about that book.
Yeah. So I graduated college in 2012, and I moved home with my parents and was...
Where'd you go?
Washington College on the Eastern Shore.
Nice,
oh my
nice.
God. That place is not really college. It's like summer camp for girls. like anybody that's ever been to WAC, But I came home from college. I was working for my dad at Johns Hopkins and was just like basically in a paid internship.
Yeah.
And I fucking hated it. Thank you, Dad, if you ever listen to this. I love you, but I fucking hated it there. So I went down to the Inner Harbor in Baltimore City to visit one of my friends. And I walk in and she's talking to me about like how much she loves bartending and serving at this restaurant. And, oh, if you need a job, let me know. And I was like, sure, I'd love to.
Little did you know you were being shanghaied.
Well, I didn't realize I was going to be interviewed right then and there. I'm in the most inappropriate outfit you could possibly imagine for a job interview. I'm in this like low-cut white Marilyn Monroe poofy dress with my hair on. Like, who the fuck did I think I was at 22 in Baltimore City? And I don't know how, but I got hired right on the spot.
That's
Can't
awesome.
imagine why.
She got the shirt.
Can't imagine why. And then I was there for...
Did they give you the shirt that day?
No, I had to go back and pay for my uniform the
Oh.
next day. I did, because they didn't have cash on me.
We've always been joking around about how a lot of people, when they interview for their first restaurant job, they go, can you start in 20 minutes? The person that you're replacing, we just fired him.
Right.
So we need you now. I mean, can you get on the floor? You don't need a lot of
Service
training.
industry, they give you no notice for nothing. But I was there for probably like 4.5, 5 years, and then left there for a while, and then started back up at a bar about 8 months ago, and then actually last weekend was my last weekend.
Oh, no.
I know. What? Oh no.
Well,
I now only have one job. It's great.
I wanted to come visit you.
I mean, I will still come visit you at your bar because you work 3 minutes away from where I live.
Okay.
So you will still see me.
I have great news for you. I bought a house last week.
Fuck yeah, cheers to again. That's awesome.
Guess where it is?
Where?
Hamilton, right off Harford Road.
Good for you.
We're
That's
gonna
awesome.
be neighbors.
Oh my God, we're gonna be neighbors, darling. You don't even know.
This is gonna be great.
I'll bring you a casserole.
So what was the span of time? You said you took a big hiatus from that first bar job to this most recent one.
Mm-hmm.
What was that gap like?
So I have a corporate job that I really, really love. It is the bee's knees, two thumbs, way up. But I moved out to Denver with them, and I had to leave my bar job that I had on the weekends because obviously they don't have one of the places I used to work in Denver.
Great town. Pearl Street.
There. Oh my God.
Pearl Street.
Pearl Street was
favorite place to drink in
A
Denver.
lot of good places in Denver. It's
Oh,
expensive as fuck.
You ever been to El Chapultepec? Right across.
Bless you. No.
It's right across from Coors Field.
Okay.
Okay. It's one of my favorite dive bars in the country. I think I'm going to profile them this week.
Okay.
It was a diner back in the 50s.
Oh, yes.
And they converted
Yes.
it. They only take cash, and it
Yeah.
smells like urine in there.
We've been there a couple of times. I know. I never knew what it was called.
Yes.
It was just the place across from the ballpark. And
Yes.
That's where we used to go.
And they have the pool table on one side, and then they do live music right on the floor. And every time I've gone there,
It's like as big as this room.
Right.
Yeah.
Every time I've gone there, have been the most incredible jazz players there.
Oh, cool.
There was a kid that couldn't have been more than 15 playing drums. That was one of the greatest drummers I've ever seen.
That's fucking
No
fun.
shoes on, just going bananas.
Oh, my style. Excellent.
So anyway, I hijacked that a little bit. So What was the bar here in Baltimore that you most recently worked for?
So it's called Penny Black, and it's in
Love
Fells
the
Point.
name.
It's actually the name of the owner. My husband went to elementary school with the owner's kids, and that's how I got the job.
Awesome.
They needed a bartender after COVID. And it's called Penny Black because that was the name of the kids' band when they were growing up. They're like super musically talented. Went to
cool.
Juilliard, like incredibly talented people. It's a small family-owned restaurant, very small staff. The bar is gorgeous. Like it's old school Baltimore Fells Point.
So help me out because I worked in Fells for a long time.
It's right next to the Point. Literally right next.
Really?
It used to be John Stevens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it used to be John Stevens.
We gotta get down there.
It's
man.
their food. Like it's. Even though I might be a little biased, like their food, I always call it like gourmet home cooking. Like when you order food, it's like mom made it.
What's
it's
like
so
the dish there?
African peanut soup. 100%.
I love it. Don't say anything else.
Good.
Don't even tell them anything else, guys. African peanut soup.
So good.
Go there and get it. You know why? Because I've never even heard of African peanut soup. So there's no fucking chance you have either.
I wonder if
It's
it's like
amazing.
the boiled peanuts at all.
Oh my gosh.
I wish.
See now
I wish because that's one of my all-time favorite treats.
You like
yes,
boiled peanuts? Oh yeah.
hot or
Come on,
cold.
cheers.
Hot or
Because
cold.
Hot.
Yes,
They
hot,
gotta be
absolutely.
fucking.
Of course.
I wanted to
Yes.
burn my fingers.
Yes.
Does anybody know what boiled peanuts are?
It's a South Carolina or North Carolina.
You get them at
tradition.
gas stations
yes,
in the South.
or side of the road. Yeah,
When we-
in a styrofoam cup.
When
two
we-
styrofoam cups.
One for
the
shells.
peanuts, one for the shells.
This is great. Oh my god. You have no idea what you just did, Emily. You just made a friend for life.
Yes.
Because Mike would kill his firstborn child for some Cajun boiled
gotta get
Oh,
the
peanuts.
slap your
spicy
mama.
ones.
Got to get the slap your mama.
Yes,
That's
yes.
how you know they're good.
So we drove when Mike moved back to Kansas from Baltimore a couple months back. I drove with him.
Yeah.
And we did the I was 16, 17 hours.
18 hours.
18
at
hours.
least,
Crazy
yeah.
drive.
It's a terrible.
And
I
so-
just did it, yeah.
But we did it, we went through so many boiled peanut territory.
Yeah.
And every time we stopped, Mike would come out of the gas stations with those giant
styrofoam cups.
No. He would come out with the 2-gallon metal containers. He'd come out with like 3 of them because he had to bring enough back to Kansas with him because he doesn't have them in Kansas.
Well, they didn't sell them in Kansas, but good news, everyone listening. I know you're worried about this. They started selling the little $2 cans.
The cans,
at
yeah.
Walmart. So I've stocked up.
Oh, you're
I'm
good.
ready to go.
You know-
Yeah, if there's an apocalypse, I'm gonna have boiled
The
peanuts.
secret to boiled peanuts is a crock pot. You just
Yeah.
throw
Oh,
them in
yes.
the crock pot,
Oh, yeah.
low and slow, 12
Yeah.
hours, and they are perfect every fucking time.
I will tell you, I've
And it costs like $2.
Yes, we've thrown a lot of parties over the years, Mike and I living together, and I have to tell you, there is nothing like a party treat in the cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
Boiled peanuts for tailgates, boiled peanuts for Halloween, boiled peanuts for Christmas, boiled peanuts for
Wait a second, I can just
for
see you
January
handing out
1st.
like
I'm
a
serious.
handful of boiled peanuts to a trick-or-treater that comes to your
Oh yes,
Trick-or-treat,
Oh,
here you go,
no.
kids. Styrofoam cups for everybody.
yes. Oh my God! You know what's funny? Every one of those kids would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with
But
that
then
lady?"
you would be doing the Lord's work
And
and
then
changing
they
lives
would
one
get
day
home,
at a time.
and then they would get home, and they would start eating the boiled peanuts. And then what you would see is you'd see one kid trading all of his chocolate for just
Hoarding the
just a
peanuts.
small army of boiled peanuts, and that's 5-year-old Mike. All right.
A little off topic there, but that's fine.
No, I love it. So listen, we got to get to Penny Black. We actually might go today because we're gonna go to brunch after this. I think
Oh, I
before
love that.
because I'm closing the bar tonight. But we,
Oof.
my girl, we've had small windows to spend a lot of time together, and so we're both working tonight. We're gonna try to get to the bar before we're gonna try to go get some lunch before we head to the bar. So maybe Penny Black is the way to
Yeah,
put it today.
give it a whirl. My friend
I'm-
Vita is working, and Vita is hands down one of the. She's 22 and probably was cooler than me when she was 16 than I will ever be cumulatively in my entire life. She's
Okay.
just like a cool person. Bright orange mohawk. You literally can't miss her.
So-
She's super cool.
So you were the Marilyn Monroe. She's the Mary Tyler Moore. Is that what we're talking about?
I mean, I wouldn't go so far to say that I was the Marilyn Monroe, but I would love to be a Jackie O.
All right, well, that's awesome. I love getting that background, and it's cool. Every single person we've had on here has had such varied experience. We interviewed somebody who was born in Kansas, worked in Florida, then worked in Australia and New Zealand. We've interviewed another guest that only has had one bar gig ever. Think about that. Only worked at one
I
restaurant.
must like them.
Yeah, I know. Weird, right?
Right?
Total weirdo. We've talked to people who have worked in the kitchen, in the front of the house, all this different experience. I love the fact that your bartending experience is kind of like a serial killer that went dormant for a while. You were in the industry, you were doing your thing,
As
and then
a
then you.
30-year-old white woman, I really identify with
Yes,
you.
I can tell. Yeah, because clearly you're in the cut there. No, but then you have this kind of dormant period,
Yeah.
and then you come back into it, and I think that's kind of cool. Right before we get into the gauntlet, this is not a question that we ask everybody, but I feel like I really want to ask you:
Okay, I'm nervous.
do you feel like you're out forever?
I don't know. Okay, that's a really good question because I thought that I was out forever the last time because I also would just like moonlight at different bars in Denver.
So true.
Because I had friends in the industry.
You meet somebody, they go, "Hey, can you cover a night?"
For a night, literally a
Hey,
night.
we're doing our employee party. Do you want to bartend?
I do.
It's always stuff like that.
But I can't decide because, like, I don't know. When I would always do doubles on Sundays, and I would wake up on Mondays, and my knees would just be wrecked. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm like out for good, or if I do get back into it. Because I got back into it because I love it. I really, really love the service industry, being able to meet people, the conversations,
those relationships,
money,
and the money.
It's like. Don't get me wrong, it is not easy work, but it's easy money, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you work your ass off, but it makes up for it at the end of the day. Well, but I hope I'm not out for good.
Yeah. And it's a skill set that even if you go into some corporate job or whatever, like, it's always on retainer.
Yeah.
You can, at the drop of a hat, you can start bartending. And, especially nowadays with smartphones, even if you forget how to make a certain drink, you can just look it up. But I've been in so many weird situations where at the drop of a hat, a bartender was needed. Yeah. And boom, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm ready. You're right. It is fun.
Or even like your social skills. I mean, I think I was shy for like 2 or 3 days when I was 4, and that was about it. But I feel like I really learned how not only to interact with people that I didn't know really, really well by being in the service industry, but then also like I learned how to relate to people in another way that I had never really done before.
Well, and the other thing, it makes you more dynamic to relate to so many different people.
Service
that's
people
that's been my biggest
like genuinely interesting. So everybody's got a wild story.
So I'm in a corporate role now as well. That's my 9 to 5 during the week, and a lot of it is relationship based. I do more or less do sales, and one of the things that I think has made me so good at sales in a professional environment is the fact that I can walk into a room with a male, a female, old, young, outgoing, maybe more of an introvert. And it's not going to matter because I've spent so much time with so many different people at bars and restaurants that I know how to play the notes, with different people. And so that's an awesome thing about this. I have a feeling like Emily's not out. she's gonna get lured back in at some point.
Fuck.
One day she might be 60 owning the bar, running that joint, and I'm gonna go there. That's for damn sure.
Oh God, we'll call it the psych ward, and we'll go to the.
We'll put padding on the walls. That'd be great, dude. I'll tell you, for all the times I got blacked out and fell over, that'd be the kind of bar I would need to go to.
I got you, babe. When I'm 60 years old, I got you.
We already told this story on the pod. We need to get in the Gauntlet. I'm done. I'm gonna be done. I swear to God, I'm gonna be done after this. We already told this story on the pod, but one time I went to a bachelor party in San Diego. I got way, way, way too drunk and way too twisted up on some other substances. And at one point, I climbed up on top of a bar called Guavas in Pacific Beach. And I started... have you ever seen the city of Rio de Janeiro with the statue of Jesus holding his hands out? I'm basically Jesus holding his hands out like this on the top of the bar, screaming at everybody, saying, "This is why I hate California, because nobody knows how to drink." And that's when I... swan dive off the bar, head first into the tile floor, and knock myself out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm so glad you're still here with us. It was bad. And by the way, you've not told that story on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Well,
you were so bad about that. You're like, "Oh, we talked about this before." No, you fucking didn't.
Okay, well, we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it properly. Guys, I think for the 25th yes, that's right. Because I'm not even close. I'm a sinner and I need to be saved. Dear Lord. I think maybe that's episode 25 is you interviewing me.
Yeah, I think that'd be
And
good.
we'll do it properly.
Just drunk as shit.
We'll do it properly. Yeah. So I don't want to take up any more of Emily's time here because this is about her. We want to showcase this amazing lady that has joined us today. Let's get into the Gauntlet. All right, Em. This is the Gauntlet.
Okay,
all right, we
ready.
started with 50 questions. We boiled them down to the top 10.
Boil them down like some delicious peanuts.
I feel like that's going to be a recurring theme for the rest of the day.
All right, we're going to put a little Cajun style on this one. Question number 1. Pet peeves and misconceptions.
Oh, okay. This is my favorite of all of the questions that I looked at.
Yes.
My biggest pet peeve in the entire world, and every single bartender especially can relate to this. If I see you standing at my bar and you are waving a credit card or money at me, I will absolutely ignore you. I will serve every other person in my bar and the bar next door before I come over to you and ask what you need. Yeah. That's so fucking rude. How dare you flash money in my face thinking that you're more important than anybody else in a restaurant, like, get the fuck out of my face.
And sprinkle on top of that the whistles and the snaps.
Oh, Lord, help
the snaps and the whistles.
I had a man whistle and snap his fingers and go, "Oh, sweetheart." I said, "Oh, sir, I know you must not be talking to me." Absolutely not.
Listen, if you're going to address me as bar wench.
Or dollface. Shit, not sweetheart. And then I think I think this kind of rolls into misconceptions. It's also a pet peeve of mine.
Okay.
People think that people in the service industry have either settled or that they're less than or like they're not educated.
What else do you do?
Right. I'm like, fuck you.
Oh
What
my
if this
God.
is like, I went to a really good college. I'm in graduate school.
Can we
work.
let's set this up because
Yeah,
I love
please,
this. I love this. Okay, so guys, if you go into a restaurant and you start to have a relationship with that server, that bartender, and you feel the gumption to ask them about their life and personal questions, do not ever say to that person, "So what else do you do?" As if this job is, that they're slinging shit, for the fucking the sewage department in town. Like, this is ridiculous. And by the way, sewage workers, thank you. I mean, that's also.
I was about to jump in there.
I don't know what.
It's early in the morning, people.
I just did exactly what I was saying not to do. Anyway, look, don't ask these people, "What else do you do?" A lot of them are very accomplished. I went to law school, motherfuckers. Emily went to graduate school. Mike is one of the smartest and most well-read people that I've ever met in my entire fucking life, and a beautiful writer. There's a good chance that between the three of us, we have a collective IQ that could bury your motherfucking ass. The reason that we do this is because A, it's fun, B, we're addicted, and C, again, the money. It's fucking insane. Also, do you get to get drunk at work? Because I get to get drunk at work. I do. Yeah, so go fuck yourself. It's such a degrading question.
And it's just rude. Like, I can't stand people that feel like they're inherently better than other people for absolutely no reason. And for whatever reason, people that come in, oh, I'm in a business suit and you're serving me. That makes me better than you, which means I have better experiences. Bitch, I guarantee that I have met more famous people and made way more money than you will ever see in your lifetime.
Well, I think there is definitely an age demographic to that question.
100%. Anybody that's older.
Yeah.
But I feel like even younger people nowadays who are expecting to graduate college and have this incredible opportunity waiting for them treat service people like assholes, or that, again, they're less than. So that is my biggest pet peeve / misconception, because hands down, some of the people that I have worked with at bars and restaurants over the last 10 years, fuck, I'm old. Shit. I guarantee that those are probably some of the most, like you said, well-read, most interesting, diverse, and hilarious people that you will ever meet in your entire life.
That's why we came up with
Exactly. I love this.
Because I said to myself, bartenders know how to tell stories, and I mean this. He's gonna get all gushy and self-conscious. Mike is one of the most eclectic people. He's one of the most eclectic people I know. I'll tell you, there's not a dull moment with Mike Windsor, because when you spend time with him, he has interesting thought, interesting conversation. If even if you have not a lot to contribute, he can find a way to make that a conversation.
You're making him blush.
I love that about him.
I just keep thinking about the last 3 episodes where I was like, I literally did a "your mama" joke in one of the last episodes,
There was one episode where he was so twisted that all he said for an hour and a half was saltwater crocodile. So as I say this, as I compliment him, we got to bring him back down a peg or two.
Absolutely.
Those are awesome. I will say this, we do want to give people advice. So let's try to, both of you, let's try to workshop this. What's a better way to ask a bartender what else they do? Without being degrading. Like, I would say something. I've heard some customers say to me, "Hey man, you're an awesome bartender. Is this your main gig?"
Yeah, I think that's the way to say it. To not assume that they are doing something else.
Right.
It's like Sid talked about. There are career bartenders and servers who are making $100,000 a year, and they're doing something that they love and enjoy.
I worked with a guy down in Canton that no question was making $120,000, $130,000.
Yeah,
These
exactly.
people fucking loved his ass. Yeah. They came just for him, and so look, that's there are a lot of people that'll never make 6 figures in their life. He's banking that. He's banked that in 8 months because, there's an off season where he's not even really working a lot.
I think it just really comes down to if you actually really like your bartender or server and you just want to get to know him, you can just, that question, is this your main gig?
Yeah.
My other favorite, whenever someone says I think a good way to word that too would be, I can see like you're running your fucking ass off. How do you do this full time, or do you do this full time?
Yeah.
I think that that's a good way to like open up a conversation, because if ever someone asks me, so what else do you do? Cocaine, I love vodka, I run every once in a while. I don't understand what the question is.
Yeah, I
understand the
have
question.
dogs. I'm married. Like, you know, I'm a more complete person than just serving your
Right.
fucking ass. So
I do not. This polyester shirt of mine that I am wearing that makes me look amazing is not what I wear outside of this place. Let me just tell you that.
before we move on,
Please.
I have another misconception and pet peeve that has been crushing me,
gosh,
like
please.
crushing my soul. I'm not going to do it today.
Okay.
Okay,
You're
and
an
here's
asshole.
why. Here's why. I'm going to save it because those were so fucking good. I'm going to save it, but Mike, I'm going to put it right now on wax. I need you to remind me the double order.
The double order.
Just remind me the double order. Don't forget.
I won't. And I gotta say, I do love this category because it's a chance for servers and bartenders to commiserate with each other about what we hate. It's also a chance for people who aren't in the service industry to learn a thing or two about
Yeah.
how to operate in a. I think
Bar etiquette.
I feel like some people don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe they just don't understand how it works, and there are really simple things you can do to not be an asshole and to get good service.
Exactly.
Like you said, that
You
person
wave
waving
money
the
at
check.
me? No,
You're the
sir.
last person
No,
on the
sir.
goddamn list.
God forbid.
So-
I think this might be my favorite category. I could talk about that all day.
We're doing the Lord's work.
The Lord's work.
We
Yes,
are
we
trying to help every bartender and server out there, and maybe some of you who have not been in the service industry don't believe me. I'm actually trying to get you better service. If you take some of these to heart and you start applying them, watch your bar and restaurant experience soar. Watch you get. I don't think I'm stepping out of bounds here. Watch you start to get a free drink. Watch you start to get a little bit better service. Watch you start to have a better relationship with your bartender if you take some of these to heart. So that's food for thought. Question number 2. Best tips, worst tips. Talk about some of like just these crazy tipping situations.
Okay,
that
I have
happen.
a really good one. So I
Love
used to work at the Schmarch Cafe down in
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Schmarch Rock. No, I'm just kidding. Hard Rock
Gesundheit.
Cafe. I was at Hard Rock Cafe for the first like experience that I had when I was serving and bartending, and Five Finger Death Punch came to town to play a show.
Yes.
And at the time, I was dating my now husband. And I texted him and I was like, hey, I think it's going to be slammed. I probably won't get out of here until like 3 or 4 in the morning, like just letting you know. Well, this guy comes in and he is like 6'5", big dreadlocked beard. comes in-
Dreadlocked beard.
Dude, it was fucking wild. It was like down to here.
I
He
mean,
sits
are we
at the-
talking about like really like tangled, like crazy
like
dreadlocks?
Cthulhu.
Like think, that guy, or think like the
I'm thinking Pirates of the
yeah,
Caribbean.
thank you. I couldn't
the
think of it.
octopus,
The octopus guy, Davy
face.
Jones. Yeah,
Yes.
he looked kind of like
Holy
that,
shit.
but fucking gorgeous, man. Like just a
Wow.
hottie. Anyway, so he sits down at the bar. We start to talk or whatever, and I asked him, I was like, "Oh, are you in town for the concert?" He goes, "What concert?" And I was like, "Oh, Five Finger Death Punch is in town. Did you know? I'm a huge fan." No, I'm fucking not. He goes, "Yeah, I'm familiar with them. I'm their bass guitarist."
Oh!
I was like, "Hi, I'm really embarrassed. I'm really sorry."
Thank God you said you love the band.
I'm right. No, I was like, "Oh, I'm a
They're
huge
not really
fan."
my style.
I had no idea who the fuck they were. And he starts going on, and his name's Chris Kale, and he was so nice, just so nice. He got his start. He actually met a bunch of the band members at Hard Rock Cafe in Vegas. So that's like how the band got together.
Really?
And so he came, sat at the bar, stayed with me after I closed, and just was like having really good conversation.
Cool.
Super cool. I called Ben. He drove down and was like, I just kind of want to meet the dude,
Yeah.
like get a picture. So fucking nice about it. Left me a $500 tip on a
Oh
$30
my God, that's
check.
awesome. What a guy.
$30 check.
Ben, you and Five Finger Death Punch are welcome on the podcast.
Yeah, right, anytime.
I'm serious. I'm
You got some
serious.
bonus
Yeah.
episodes coming up.
Yeah, bonus episodes. You want to
I'll
do
use
some
my
music for
connections.
us?
I got
I mean,
you.
free booze. We'll, you know, we'll plug your ass. I mean,
Am I
come
allowed to have
on.
a second one of these?
Wait, did I just say we'll plug your ass? I meant we'll plug the
sorry.
band.
Yeah.
That didn't come off right.
Jesus.
You get it. You get it.
You know.
That's
That's
awesome. That's incredible.
It was hands down one of the coolest things. And it
$500
was,
tip. That's great, man.
I mean, an incredible tip, an incredible dude. Just like
Yeah.
literally stayed with me for probably 3 hours after the bar had closed and just hung out and shot the shit.
Well,
bet
and you
that-
were saying that they met each other. They didn't meet each other for the concert there. They met each other at a Hard Rock Cafe.
So
Is how
that's
the
like
band
how,
started.
Yeah, they all
Okay.
worked at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas.
Really?
And I
Okay.
think maybe it was
Wow.
only 2 or 3 of them, but
wait,
a
wait.
couple of them.
They also work there?
Yeah, the one in Vegas.
So they were-
yeah.
Bet.
That's how they
You
like.
can be on the pod. Come on, Chris. You can be on the pod, man.
Right? I'll just give him a ring.
Yeah.
My old friend Chris, just give him a holler.
Love it.
Drop him a line.
All right, before we go further, can I have another beer?
Okay, cool. Because I just opened this one and I felt like a drunk.
No, these are actually.
They're so good.
You know what? I've got it.
They're an 8.5% too.
I have to get something off my chest.
They're hitting right now.
I remember this beer because it's the Raging Bitch. The artwork is so iconic.
Yeah.
I remember
Do you want to
drinking this.
describe it?
You can see the teats in the dog pussy. Okay, and it
Ben calls it the moose knuckle, and it makes me so uncomfortable.
The moose knuckle.
Cheers.
Love
But
it.
I've got to be honest with you. I drank these when I came to Maryland because I was like, "Oh, Raging Bitch, I've got to try that." Did not like it. I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this beer.
Yeah.
I think, like you
It's so
said,
good.
it's got some goddamn girth to
Yeah.
it. Right?
They are
It's a
so
good
much-
morning beer.
They're
You're
so much
welcome.
better out of a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, I don't like them on draft either.
Yeah.
It's got to
So-
be from a bottle.
It is
Do
good.
you like red eyes where you'll put a
Coffee?
No, where you put, well, yes, there's a red eye coffee, but no, where you'll take a beer and you'll put a big shot of Bloody Mary mix into it.
Oh, yeah,
when you're
red beer.
hungover. This beer?
Would be a good red beer.
No, it is a good one.
It's
Trust
a
me,
good
I
red
have
beer.
done it many times. This with a shot of Bloody.
I don't think I've ever had a red beer.
It's good.
Yeah.
And I love
It's like a huge thing in
Bloody
Denver.
Marys.
So
I can't wait until we do an episode with Bloody Marys.
if you really do it Maryland style,
Do a
you
morning one. That'll really get your gears
Yeah,
going.
right.
you'll do a rim of Old Bay,
Yeah.
this in the glass, and then a big shot of Bloody Mary mix
Okay.
and mix it up, and it's delicious.
Spicy Bloody Mary mix.
Well, you know why
obviously.
you do that is because the
Always.
tomato juice helps hydrate you, and so
Yeah.
when you're hungover, it's a good hangover tool
Okay.
because you got a little alcohol to pick you back up. So let's keep it
Hair of the
moving.
dog. Hair of the bitch.
Literally, hair of the raging bitch. All right, so question number 3: worst drink orders, and we want to put this both ways because we've had some guests kind of coach us on this. This could be the worst drink order that you've received from a customer, or like the worst drink that maybe a bartender has made for you. Like you order. I ordered my first old fashioned. It came out red with just so much grenadine in it, and it.
They put grenadine in your old fashioned?
These people.
Where the fuck did you go? Because I'm going with torches and pitchforks.
the green turtle?
No!
I don't blame the green turtle.
Take their shirt off
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
got
Oh, fuck,
he's got
Sir!
their shirt on.
No, it's not
I
the
need
green.
to leave. I need a minute.
It's
I'm
not.
sweating.
It's not the green turtle's fault.
What?
It
Yes,
was-
it is!
No, I think it was the bartender's fault. She was such a baby. Anyway, it turned me off from old fashions for the longest time.
I bet because the bitch put grenadine in
Right,
it.
right. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about here.
Got it. Okay.
I mean,
sorry for that.
Mike tried the Malibu Dew earlier this week. We're gonna wait to talk
Oh
about
my
that.
God.
That's
Oh
gonna be
God.
bonus content. But yeah, Mike gave the Malibu Dew a try, which is
Don't
Malibu
do it.
and Mountain Dew, right?
no, it's Malibu Mountain Dew and 151 rum.
Okay,
Yeah.
really quick. Really quick.
No, save it.
God damn it.
All right, go ahead.
So, Jude, love you, buddy. If you're a friend of Steve's, you're a friend of mine. And as you can tell from this podcast, we give each other a lot of shit. But man, stop drinking that. And if you want to drink it, that's fine. But never order that in front of anybody, especially if you're trying to get laid or something. Oh my
Don't tell
god!
people
You know
that's
what you do?
drink.
Order it as separate parts. Can I have a Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
Can I have a Malibu? And can I have a
Well,
151?
okay.
Go to the
Any
bathroom.
man
Yeah.
that
Go
goes
to the
to a
bathroom.
bar though and orders a shot of Malibu, I would question everything about your
Go
existence.
to the bathroom
So,
and put it together yourself.
What is it's 151, it's Malibu, and it's Mountain Dew. And he called it a Caribou Dew. Now, I'm not
Yes,
sure.
the
I don't know
Caribou
if they're...
Do you remember Caribou Lou?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
151,
say.
one.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
from
Pineapple
fucking
juice
Kansas.
and
Kansas
Malibu,
City,
Caribou,
Tech 9.
Get 'em all,
I
Hey,
just-
baby girl, come out of the
Let her
shit
go,
out
let her
of
go.
the hill, don't stop till the cops come. I'm done.
No, I literally just got free tickets to go see Tech 9.
Shut up!
I did. In
One of my
Joplin,
all-time
fucking
favorite
Missouri.
lyrics from any song ever is the Tech 9 Caribou Lou, and it's Tar Bender, I need another nink. I love it. It's so good.
I'm so
This
happy
other
somebody
kid.
else is singing on this pod because, as Mike said, the last time we did this, we did 3 in a row, and I got so drunk that by Brian pod, episode 10, check it out. I was singing every 10 seconds. I just kept breaking into song, and I woke up the next day. I was like, oh my
I think I had a great time with that. I love those.
I'm
episodes.
so
Oh my God.
self-conscious. So I love that somebody else
Yes,
is throwing
anytime,
some licks
Brad,
down.
But
anytime.
the reason I was wrapping that up is because Caribou Lou, which that drink is 151 rum, pineapple juice,
Malibu.
and Malibu. Maybe that's what's up.
Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say to Jude. When they said Caribou Dew, I feel like it's a play on Caribou Lou. Just order that. It's still kind of a
Yeah.
trashy drink. Like it's something
It's
that
definitely a trashy
it's meant
drink,
to
yeah.
get you fucked up.
It's like a Long Island iced
But
tea.
man, Jude, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I tried it, dude.
Jude, we
Please,
love you.
save
You
it,
like
man.
what you like, and more power to you,
Yeah.
baby.
If
I'm
you're
not.
gonna order it, you got to be confident as fuck and be like, "Fuck everybody else, I'm gonna drink this."
I love it. That's right.
trash.
Okay, so anyway,
All right.
worst drink orders.
Worst drink orders.
What a
So-
setup that was.
It's
Jesus.
such a good one though. I feel really ready for this question now. I think Common misconception also, I don't mind making a mojito. I love a good mojito
love
myself.
mojitos.
And when people are like, oh, I fucking hate this bitch, she just ordered a mojito. I'm like, bring her to my table. I'll fucking serve her and I'm going to get her hammered. My least favorite drink to make is a Long Island iced tea.
It never fails.
I'm
Never
so
fails.
sorry. Anybody that drinks Long Island iced tea, please get a better drink, because unless you are ordering top shelf liquor, which is going to cost you $15 for one fucking drink, it is not good. And don't lie to me and pretend you think it's good.
In the words of Sid Borchman, you trash.
You trash.
You trash.
I love that this is a theme on this.
So one of my best friends in the whole world, she's from Staten Island. Okay.
I thought it was Long
a
Island.
New York girl, a Long Island girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
A Long Island or Staten Island?
She's Sicilian as fuck.
Oh, bless her. I love that for her.
She's great.
Yes. Oh my
She's
God, I love
fucking
this for her.
incredible.
I
Her
would
mother,
definitely be
Tony
friends with
Vitaka, fucking love her too.
Oh my God, shut up. I love that for
she's
her.
the
Her and I
man.
would definitely get together. We'd get our nails done. We'd have a
you would love-
cocktail. We'd be great.
So she was a staple at the horse she came in on for a long time.
I fucking can't stop now with that stupid voice. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. But Sid came on here and we were talking about the Long Island. She goes, "You're not allowed to drink it if you're not 21. If you're 21, okay. If you're not 21,
it's a rite of passage.
you trash. You
You're definitely
trash.
trash.
So, all right, that's a good one.
That's awesome.
Let's move on to the next one. Mike, tee her up on that.
All right, so.
Did you forget where we were?
Yeah, well, speaking of mistakes.
Thank God that Pedialyte is done. I'm just glad you're alive.
So we're moving on to ultimate mistakes and fuck ups. All right. Now we can tell you've never made a mistake in your entire
Ever.
life, right? But obviously you've seen some people fuck up.
Yours
right?
or your coworkers.
So this is my all-time favorite story that I think I have as
From the
a service
business.
industry worker.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was a baby bartender at Hard Rock. You have to go through the ladder. So you have to start as a server, and then they choose you to be a bartender, and you have to be there for at least like 6 months or something.
It's like a bachelorette kind of thing where they give you a rose.
Oh, I actually did. You do get a pin, and mine was a rose pin. So
no,
dude,
shut up.
I still got my entire collection. That thing is worth so much fucking money. Anyway,
Did you have your 27 pieces of flair?
it was 5 as a bartender and 13 for a server. I'm not even kidding.
Here's
you.
my flair right
Oh
here.
my God, Hard Rock, go fuck yourself, please go fuck
Unless
yourself.
Nelsie's still there. Nelsie, you're still cool. But so I'm a baby bartender. My best friend and I are behind the bar. She actually ended up being one of the bridesmaids in my wedding and was me and Ben's roommate when we first
So
moved in
cool.
together. Super cool chick. Chell, I love you. And I'm behind the bar. We have this couple who's regulars, and he always ordered a loose cannon, and she always ordered White Russians. Well, as a
Two of my
like
favorites, yeah.
I
right?
already like
I had never made a White Russian before, so I did not know that you were supposed to put cream in it. So I put Bailey's in it instead, so there was
Ooh.
no cut in it at all.
I don't care.
An Irish Russian.
Yeah, it was. I that's how I drink my White Russians now because it was such a good fuck up.
Okay.
She usually drank 3 or 4. She had 2 and fell out of her chair and broke her tooth on the floor.
Broke her
Yeah,
tooth.
broke her tooth.
That's
So
the second broken tooth on the
Yeah,
pod.
I was just gonna say that.
there's like
God damn it.
The bar was shaped like the body of a guitar, so it was like an island bar.
Yeah, I
And then
remember.
we-
I
yeah,
remember.
and
The
then
one-
we
you're
had
talking
like
about the
a
one in
rail.
Baltimore, right?
Yeah, that's the one in Inner Harbor. And then there was this gold railing underneath that stuck out pretty far, and
Yes.
she fell out of her chair and smacked her face on the
No.
railing.
Man.
Somehow,
Oh my
I didn't get in
God.
trouble. We didn't get sued, but she only had like 1.5 of my White Russians.
Oh my
and
God.
I did not know that you were supposed to put cream in it. So I think that was one of my biggest fuck ups.
That's
Or
awesome.
the time that I dropped hot soup all over a man's lap, and then he proceeded to be very excited to see me with his wet pants covered in hot soup.
Wait, what?
If you
what
know
do
what I mean.
No, I don't.
Get a fucking hard on. Literally dropped hot soup on this man's lap, and
That's-
he went to stand up and instantly went from 6 to midnight.
Whoa.
That's a very niche fetish.
I guess so.
That's a very niche fetish.
And I'm really worried that I might have been the one that turned him on to that niche fetish. Like I'm really, because he looked as startled as I did.
Can I tell you something?
I broke him.
As a man with a lot of kinks and a lot of fetishes, I will tell you this right now. That was not his first time. Okay? If you're out in public and you go 6 to midnight just like that when somebody spills the hot soup, then
I'm talking
your thing
instant.
is that ladies spill hot soup on your head. That's his thing.
It was fucking wild.
Some people like to get hit in the dick with a wrench. I don't know, you know?
To each their own.
To each their own. But yeah, I'd say that those are probably
So
my 2 biggest fuck ups.
I will say this. The first one, it
was a happy accident.
What do
Bob
we-
Ross,
yeah.
what's his name? Happy accident.
what do we call it, an Irish Russian?
Yeah, I've got to try because I
Frankly,
love White Russians.
It actually ended up being really, really good. Like, it was delicious.
Hey, can you guys all hear Ruka on the pod? We're going to take a little break, guys. Yeah, the truth is here with this Irish Russian, I guess that's what we can call it.
We're going to trademark that shit.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to throw a little bit of like, I don't know. We have to doctor that up a little bit because that's a lot of
categories. Have you ever heard of an
categories.
Irish hammer?
No, but
So
it
an
sounds
Irish
like
hammer
my
is
husband.
an Irish hammer is amaretto, Baileys, and
Nope,
whiskey.
you lost me an
It's
amaretto.
delicious. It's delicious.
Absolutely not.
So anyway, what I was gonna say is, I think you just crushed that category, but it doesn't sound like a mistake at all. That sounds incredible.
I'm gonna drink that later this weekend.
Sounds fucking incredible.
It's delicious.
Anyway, so before we get into our little intermission, our little halftime, we're gonna do our last question before that. That's number 5, health code violations, which was one of my favorites, and I have a great story today, guys. Great one, which I haven't even told you about.
Because can you start with your story? Because I don't really have it. Like, the entire restaurant industry is a health code violation. Like,
Yes.
I've got one really good one, but I'm really curious to actually hear yours first.
Okay.
Sorry to put you on the spot like that. But
No, I'm
He
ready.
loves it.
I'm ready.
He loves it.
So I work at
you don't say.
I work at this beautiful bar. It's called Das Beer Hall.
Love it.
It's in Parkville, Maryland, right outside of Towson, and it is the place to be in Baltimore right now. I mean, we got people hanging from the rafters. It's outstanding. We had probably 20 customers dancing on the bar last night. It was just outrageous, out of
I
control.
really hope one of them fell. I'm a bad person.
Multiple of them
You're
slipped
not.
and fell on their ass. It was hilarious. Now, guys, this is actually where I met Emily, so it's kind of an important place for this pod, right?
Love story.
Yeah,
That's so special.
I'm glad we got
It's your meat cute.
I've always wanted to get sentimental over a raging bitch. You know what I mean?
Well, I am right here, so.
But so last night we have a bartender there. His name's Pat Valso, and I know he won't mind me putting his name on the pod. He is one of my favorite people. Hardworking guy, great bartender, cool tattoos, and a kick-ass drummer. He's just like a really cool person. Now
I want to sleep with him, honestly.
Yes,
Is he the one with the mustache?
I've made advances. I've
Is
made.
he the one with the mustache?
No, that's
Oh, 'cause
Val.
that
Val's
was
coming on.
Beautiful.
Val's
man.
coming on. I can't wait. From Australia? Yes.
Fantasy
So anyway,
stuff.
Pat Vaso, who I love, I've been begging him to come on the pod, and he's back and forth about it. But he tells me a story last night that I've been saving for this health code
Since
category.
last night.
Since last night. When you hear the
The
story,
whole 9 hours, y'all.
when you hear the story, you'll understand why I'm so excited. Pat Vaso proceeds to tell me that one of our newest bartenders at Das, and I'm not going to use her name. I'll use a fake name. Let's say
Melissa.
No, let's say her name's Gail,
Okay.
for example.
Gaylor.
So Gail's new, but she's also a new mother, and she's got a little babe, right? And as a new mother, breastfeeding is a really important thing to do. And, as a lot of ladies do, they will milk the teat for the breast milk.
What an ugly way to say that. She's not a cow.
I'm sorry. I didn't say pull the udder. I didn't say yank the udder. I said milk the teat.
You
for
don't
some
milk
bre-
a cow from their
for some-
udder. You milk them from the teat.
Yeah. For some breast
Jesus.
milk so that she can deliver to her babe. And it's the type of thing that, again, it's no judgments. You do it whenever you need to do it. If you need accommodations at work, we'd be happy to do it. But this is a restaurant. This is a food and beverage establishment. So Pat tells me a story about how a couple weeks back they're opening the restaurant, and he's coming in, and when you open up a place, you're setting up the straws and the cups, and you're stocking everything, and you're putting everything where it needs to be.
My favorite part of my
And
shift.
you're usually hungover. Nobody's there yet. You're rushing, and all of a sudden, he reaches into one of the coolers to grab a bottle of champagne so he can get set up for brunch. And he pulls out what he thought was a bottle of champagne, and then he looks at it and he realizes this is a bottle of breast milk that has been.
Yeah, put that in my white Russian right there.
No!
Oh!
Oh my god, can we call that the Mother Russia?
Oh my god!
The Mother
Oh,
Russian.
that is beautiful.
The
That's the
Mother
Mother Russia right there.
Well done, M. Bravo. You might have the best joke ever on the pod right there. Outstanding work by you. That is fucking fantastic. And he proceeds to tell me how he pulls it out, and he said, I said, I look at him. I go,
She snorted.
"Did you snort?"
Yeah, we're counting that
That's
one.
counted.
We're counting
That's
that
gonna
one.
get counted. We have a snort board that we.
Oh
count.
fuck! I'm gonna keep going then.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I cracked myself up.
So Pat, you have to understand, Pat last night was actually off his shift and he was fucking wasted, and he's telling me the story and he's barely getting through it. And I just look at Pat and I go, so what happens when you realize that there's this breast milk and you look at Gail and what's going on? He just goes, I just looked at her and I said, but why? Why? And apparently Gail didn't see the issue, and Pat had to explain to her, this is not sanitary.
Wait, she put the breast milk in a champagne bottle.
No, not in a champagne bottle. She had like a
okay, I understand.
What are the
bottle?
No, what are like the shaker bottles that you go to the
Blender
gym?
bottle.
She
Yeah.
had like a blender bottle,
That
and
still
she had
doesn't seem very
she had
sanitary.
sealed it and she had wrapped it. You know, it was in like and she had put it down into the cooler.
Yeah.
And it had just gotten there. So, like, Pat's like, oh, my God. And he pulls this out. And he ends up having to pull everything out, sanitize it, do all that good stuff. Because we had to be careful, you know? Because obviously we're a restaurant. And the craziest thing about it is she couldn't wrap her head around why that was not kosher.
I mean, I guess, like, because it was in a sealed container, because it was wrapped, like, I get why you could easily be like, I don't understand the problem. But at the same time, it's a restaurant. You can't take a chance like that. You can't have... This is going to sound, I mean, this makes so much sense when you say it out loud, but because it's food, you can't have outside food sources in a restaurant.
No
so
doubt.
it makes perfect sense why you can't have it. But I totally get that whole argument
Also,
of like, oh, as a mom, like,
yeah.
I've got to do what I got to do. Girl, do what you got to do.
I'm-
There is a fridge
right.
in the back room.
Yeah.
Right.
Label that shit. You
Also-
go in the walk-in, baby.
Let's
Go in the walk-in.
let's not act like every bartender, server, and busboy in the world doesn't have their food that they brought in from outside of the restaurant in some
Never
in
have
some
I
fridge
ever.
somewhere. All I'm saying is that's one of those where it's we do need to be a little bit more careful because God forbid somebody did make a Mother Russia. I mean, maybe, and what happens if I like it and it's the best thing I ever drank and then I want another and I can't have it?
She's on tap from then on.
Then we have Gail in the basement in the K cooler pumping through one of the lines.
All right, let's move on before we say something we regret.
All right, do you have any health code violations before we take an intermission?
So I think something just like to note as a
this
like
is good.
if you're not a bartender or not in the service industry, I think something to note is that when you order a draft beer, you 100% are drinking probably from a tap that's not been cleaned in about 10 years.
It's never.
If ever.
I'm so happy you said that.
I
Because
used to, before where you worked, Das Beer Hall used to be called The Barn. I
Yes,
grew
of
up
course.
right down the street
So
from
I
The
used to
Barn.
go there all the time.
I used to go with my Polish grandmother, Grandma B, R.I.P. girlfriend, and she used to always go and we'd get coffee and crab cakes and a chicken sandwich, and that was like our thing. And that place was so fucking gross and dingy. But when my father would come with us, he'd get a draft beer. Those draft lines have not been changed, I guarantee, or clean.
Well, we do clean them pretty regularly.
Oh, well, good for y'all,
Yes,
because
yes.
when I
He
worked
has
at...
to say that.
Well, but because
because you're still employed there.
because we're a beer house and we do these real high-end craft beers.
Well, yeah.
And we also cycle the beer so often, so every single time.
Okay, because you guys cycle up.
Because you know
we
what I'm
had
saying,
12
like
static.
in a week's time.
Yeah, you
one,
go through
one
Lord knows
line.
how many.
One line might change 4 times. Seriously, with some of those.
Oh damn. Okay,
Because
I see what you're saying.
You know those
yeah.
like Burley Oak Dreams. Those like some of that really specialty craft
Oh
beers
wait,
that we
this
do
is super random.
in like the 12-ounce pours.
But I have a friend. You just said Burley Oaks. I have a friend whose real, like,
You have a
Christian name
she's
is
got a
Burley
real
Cox.
friend?
His name is Burley Cox.
Burley
That
Cox.
is his Christian God-given name.
That's fucking fantastic.
Anyway, keep going. I'm sorry. That just reminded
when
me
he
of that.
files his taxes, he fills out Burley Cox on the top.
Yes, he does.
And the government
Girthy.
gives him
Category
everything
girth.
back.
Do you guys know what would really make me laugh is taking the SAT as Burley Cox and filling out those little bubbles. Burley Cox.
Yep. Anyway, so at Hard Rock, we like, hand to God, I worked there for about 5 years, and not once were those lines ever clean.
Yeah.
So it's just recycled loose cannon over, or Budweiser
And I will say
over
this.
and over.
I will say this, to Emily's point, I'd say probably, no lie, 80 to 90% of the bars in America do not clean their lines. They just don't do it.
I've been
It's
a
such a
bar
hassle.
back and a bartender. I do not remember once cleaning a
Do you know
tap.
how much, like, how invasive cleaning lines is? It's a full day. It's a full day to do.
They've
like,
made it a lot easier now.
for yours, probably, but for older systems, because you guys have that new, like, the center console draft tap. When you have
some of them are rough.
Yeah, but when you have the taps that are all scattered around a bar that's a big ass bar, and they're all, and they have their own walk-in downstairs, cleaning out bar taps the one time I have ever seen a dent took a full fucking day.
So
just a heads up, y'all. Beer lines are fucking gross.
So we have this thing that like comes out and it looks like a keg, but it's essentially a power washer with soap and water
okay.
in it.
You guys have
and
that
we
thing?
hook it up to each line and it shoots
We
water
weren't
through
able
the
to
whole
use those.
line. And then we open the line and it pours out and it's great. It's super easy.
That's much better.
It takes
we did
maybe
it the old poor person.
it takes it maybe a half hour to do all of them. And
nothing.
we have 35 drafts. You know what I mean? So it's really it doesn't take that long. I think it's really different with us because we are so craft beer centric.
You're prepared.
Yeah, that's
for
different.
That.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So and we're changing lines so often, but that's a good point. So for anybody out there, here's a good rule of thumb.
especially in old bars.
And when I went out to Kansas with Mike, we went to this place called Mormon's, and we I ordered a beer and I'd immediately send it back, and they were like, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "Look, guys, I'm in the industry. It's no knocking you. I'll pay for this. It's totally fine. I just want to let you know that line is dirty."
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I knew that, and everybody out there, I'm not teaching you how to complain. I'm teaching you how to identify. Okay, if it
Wasn't that category number one of what we were trying to avoid?
If it comes out like this, don't complain. Order something else.
There you go.
Order something else. Just be
Well,
reasonable.
you don't have to. You can
But the
complain
way to-
a little bit because they need to know because
That's
they're going
fine,
to have
right.
more issues throughout the night.
Identify. Don't complain.
Mormons is also the place where Brian, on our last episode, when he came to visit us in Kansas, he ordered what is it, Glenfiddich? It's like Glenfiddich, right?
Fittich. Isn't it Fittich or is it Fiddick?
I think it's Fiddick.
Oh, fuck
I think
yeah.
it's with
I
a
don't drink
hard-
it, so it
hard
doesn't matter to
Glenfiddich.
me.
He ordered a Glenfiddich on the rocks, and they gave him a plastic cup full of ice with a shot of Glenfiddich and a bendy straw
That's amazing.
for like $5.
That's almost as bad as your grenadine old fashioned.
That's a good representation of Mormons. But here's how you identify whether the line is clean. If you get your beer, and make sure it's a beer you know, because if it's a beer you haven't tried, that's not a really good way to have a baseline. But if it's a beer you tried, I always like to say, your national beers. Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Lite, Yuengling, Natty Boh, Budweiser, right? Or Natty Light, Budweiser. If you get one of those beers and it tastes sour, okay, or if that beer is significantly more cloudy than it's supposed to be, those are the two key identifiers. The sour piece is the big one, right? And you'll definitely get it with a lighter beer. So if you go to a bar, you want to see if their lines are clean, you order a lighter beer. I always like to do a Budweiser because I know the flavor of a Budweiser. I know what a Bud Heavy tastes like. And if it comes out and that tastes a little bit closer to apple juice than the beer, that's when I know. So
Do you want to add another word to your ASMR and say yeasty? Because that's what it is.
Jesus Christ.
Yeast. All right, what a great time. Now that we've pissed off the people and we've done healthcare violations, let's take a quick intermission, guys. We're going to take a break. We're going to have a dart. We'll be back with you shortly for Ratchet and Crazy Customers. All right, we are back on an intermission. I have a cup of coffee with my raging bitch now, so I'm ready to get right back into it. How you guys feeling?
Fabulous.
So am I. This is outstanding. I'm having such a good time. We should do more drinking at 10 a.m. I don't know about more pods at 10 a.m., but more drinking at 10 a.m. All right, number 6, Ratchet and Crazy Customers. And this can also be memorable customers. I think, early on, we were making this seem like a bad category.
Yeah.
And a lot of our guests were like, I have a customer that is just so memorable because they're just so unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so keep that in mind too. That can also be the direction.
I didn't write notes for
No,
that
it's okay.
category.
It's okay.
It's fine. I have one that I know. I have a good one.
Go in.
So for like my most memorable, we'll pull out some heartstrings real quick. My dad is my stepdad, and he is the coolest person in the entire world. I fucking love that man. He is Sheldon Greenberg. Best man in the entire world.
You have some amazing names. I
Sheldon.
can't even say that. Burley Cox,
Burley.
Sheldon Greenberg.
Sheldon Franchon Greenberg.
I heard like a Neeson or
Nelsie.
Nelsie
Yeah.
earlier. Who are these people? Are amazing.
So it was one of like my second or third day that I was out of training when I was at Hard Rock, and I had this guy come in with this little girl who's probably like 8, and he tells me, "Oh yeah, it's my stepdaughter and I's first like father-daughter date. So we're, coming here, bonding. We went to the Science Center in Baltimore, whatever." And you could tell like she was really nervous. And I sat down at the table and I was like, my daddy is my stepdad too, and he's the coolest man ever. Such a good conversation. It was a slow night. I only had that table for probably 2 hours.
Yeah.
Their bill was like, they got lemonades and burgers. Their bill was probably like $35-$40. I dropped their check. I say thank you. It was great chatting, whatever. I go back to the kitchen for something, and then I pick up the check as they're leaving, and he left me $100 bill.
Wow.
I start to sob because I'm like, why would you do that? Like, it didn't make sense. I was a baby server. I ran outside and I was like, I can't accept this. Like, there's no way. And he was like, this was probably a bonding moment that me and my stepdaughter will remember for the rest of my life. She gives me a big hug. She starts to cry. He gives me a big hug. He starts to cry. I'm also an emotional basket case. If you can't tell, I cry over everything. So I'm sitting there. I have like big makeup on. I am sobbing. I walk back in, not even thinking about it. And the bartender goes, okay, raccoon, what the fuck happened to you? So then that would probably be my most like sweet, memorable one. And then
I like that one.
Right, that's a really nice, heartwarming story.
It also highlights we've talked about this before, but the relationship that servers, bartenders have with
you
guests.
build those relationships.
You know, that is something that, like you said, they will probably remember that experience.
I will remember that for
the rest of their lives.
Even one time, the fact that it's not like you knew those people for 5 years and they were coming.
Yeah,
back, right?
they were there for 45 minutes tops.
The reason I like that so much is we haven't had a lot of sentiment on this pod. The majority of it, frankly, has been between Mike and I. Right? Remembering a lot of the times that we've worked together. Maybe having
your bromance, because it is beautiful. I get to be a first-hand witness, and this is a really beautiful thing. I kind of want to get you guys matching jackets or something.
Just wait till we
to our
fight.
OnlyFans, all right? That's all I ask.
Oh, bless you. Fuck Patreon. OnlyFans for life.
You think you like the pod. You think the pod's raunchy. You think the pod's been flagged. Wait till you see the OnlyFans. It's a lot of butt play.
If you've never heard Steve shut up, you will on the OnlyFans, all right?
Again, a lot of butt play. I'm a snorkeler.
All right, so now my favorite bartending story of the most awful thing that ever happened to me. If you Baltimore bred, when the Yankees come to town, in Baltimore City, it is big money. Everybody at every bar out there fights to work those shifts, especially if you're behind the bar. And the Yankees came to town one particular day, and it was gorgeous out. It was like right mid-season, so it was like when the Orioles were still but not oof. And the Yankees were in there, and I was behind the bar with, usually we only had 3 people. We had 5 behind the bar because it was so fucking wild. This guy, who's a big fella, I mean, I'm a big woman. I'm 5'10". I can hold my own. But this guy's like 6'5", probably pushing 400 pounds, just reeks of Marlboro Reds. Like, just with the Yankees jersey, just being a real cock the entire night. He definitely flashed money in my face, and I ignored him for a while. So... I would love to say his name was like a Dave.
Oh, really?
Or like a...
Lawrence.
No, he wasn't classy enough to be a Lawrence. If he was a Lawrence, then he definitely went by Lou.
Dave the Dick?
I think he would definitely be a Dave, or even like a Chris.
Okay.
Like, he was definitely like a New Yorker Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Continue.
So he got fussy with me about something stupid. I don't remember what it was. I think his check was taking too long. Like, he was just being a pill the whole fucking time.
Okay.
So we had to wear Baltimore memorabilia when we were in our, whatever. So we had a pin for the Ravens. And he looks at me and he goes, "You're a piece of shit. You know how I fucking know?" And I looked at him and I was like, "How do you fucking know? You're wearing a fucking Orioles pin." And I was like, "I am legally obligated to wear this, but like, okay, boo-boo, you do you." He grabs the bar, leans over and goes, and hawks a loogie in my face.
What?
It hits me on my cheek. No lie. I just stood there. I am, like I said before, I have never been shy, and it is very difficult for me to be completely, like, at a loss for words. I just stood there and was like, this did not just happen. This didn't just happen. Like, there's no way. So I went like this, and it was like, like Slimer from Ghostbusters. That's what it was like.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Where is this guy?
Like, 3 seconds later, the security guy, his name is Ed, who was hands down one of my favorite human beings I've ever met in my life. He's an older retired Baltimore County police officer.
Okay.
Ed's also pushing maybe 5'4". He's a little guy. He's a little blonde guy. This man comes just running through the bar and leaps at this man because he sees the rage start to build up.
Yeah.
So I stepped on top of the rail to launch myself over the bar at this fucking douchebag of a Chris that came from Long Island.
Douchebag
or
is a
whatever.
nice way to put it.
That was a very nice way to put it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you just see Ed running like a fucking T-Rex and just
Spear him?
headbutts him in the ribs and takes him down and stands up and looks at me and goes, "I got you, babe. I got you, babe." So
All right. All right.
All of a sudden, the ball... The entire bar... The entire bar starts to clap. I made like $2,000 that day.
Yes!
Everybody
Yes!
felt bad
Yes!
for
You
me.
deserve every penny.
Oh my god.
Oh
So
my god.
the worst, but one of the most memorable ones. I don't think I have ever showered in hotter water than I did that day.
I'm gonna do something I might regret later, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Chris, Dave, whatever your fucking name is, if you're out there right now and somehow
Come see
you're
me.
listening to this,
Piece of shit.
make tonight the night.
Tonight.
Throw yourself in front of traffic. Okay? You don't deserve to be a restaurant patron ever again. Frankly.
We don't want you to die, but we would love it if you were at least
No,
named.
I don't know about that.
No, I would like him maimed.
I would like...
Live the rest of your life unable to even get up to the bar to
Do
spit.
you know what you
alright?
deserve? You deserve to be strangled on the side of a highway by dirty tongue.
Uncurable
Like a
gonorrhea.
fucking
That's
duck.
what he deserves.
Uncontrollable.
How dare you? How
Terrible.
dare you spit in the face of this wonderful lady, you piece
God,
of shit.
it was, and I was like cute and thin back then too. Like, fuck you, dude. How dare you?
that is.
I was mad.
I think it's fair to say that is the most ratchet fucking.
What a
transfer
cocksucker.
we've had on the podcast.
That was,
thus far.
I think, to spit on someone is the grossest thing.
And also,
most
not even to
disrespectful
spit,
thing.
but to
hock a
literally
loogie.
hock a fucking loogie.
I don't mean to make it like this, but it makes it. It takes it to another level that you're a female, and I hope
100%.
Yeah, no, that's
you know
absolutely true,
it
yeah.
really does. Like I as a man have never spit on anyone in my entire life, man or woman. But I have to tell you,
Unless
like
they asked for it.
there is not.
Express written
Okay,
consent.
all right, I gotta have to back up for a second.
No, keep going.
going, I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Yeah.
I'm on one now.
So yeah, there may be some qualifiers here, but, you know. But I can't imagine a level of rage that I would be in to spit at a female. That's
No.
just like another. That's another
Or a
level.
level of
man.
rage to see somebody spit
Holy
in the
shit!
face of a female.
I think I would have fought it. Like if
it
I was
was-
just a customer there, I
It
would
was
have fought.
it was like for a good 3 seconds, everyone. It was like a collective.
Wow, dude.
Gasp.
And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Ed just comes
I'm-
and murks him.
I
With
got
his
what
fucking
did he say?
cranium.
I'm physically
I
uncomfortable.
got you, babe.
I got you, babe.
I got you,
Fuck
babe.
yes.
Oh, wait,
Ed,
what was
Ed,
I
Ed,
was
say
gonna
that.
share. I got
will,
you, babe.
I will say that. Yes. I got you, babe. You know what I would love? I would love to get a picture of Ed posing like Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse,
Swayze,
and
Patrick
underneath,
Swayze.
yeah, Swayze from Roadhouse, and he's just like this. Right? And underneath it says, I got you, babe. That might be a t-shirt we need to make. Yeah, I got you,
I'll
babe.
call
t-shirt.
Ed. I still have
Yes.
his number, and I still.
We gotta make
visit
sure
him.
it says bouncer on the back. Or security. Security.
Security,
Yes.
Security.
Yeah. All right, Mike, tee her up for 7.
Oh god damn it. Quit doing this to me.
This
All
is
right.
basically the same category.
It is. Fights, arrests, and fires. All right. Can we even top that after
mean,
the story we just told?
I mean,
I honestly, I even wrote it down in my notes. Fights, not really. I don't really have any. Like, I mean, I worked in Fells Point and I worked in the
Did you
Inner
see any-
Harbor. There were gunshots all the time, fights
did
all
you
the
see
time.
any arrests?
Plenty of my
How about
favorite
fires?
No fires, but my favorite arrest was definitely when 2 drunk frat boys jumped in the Inner Harbor water. Which, if you were
Yes,
from
you're
Baltimore,
not allowed to do that.
you
Don't do that.
100% have incurable herpes and like
Whoa,
chlamydia.
whoa,
of the
whoa!
feet.
Let's slow down. Okay,
Oh.
I don't have herpes or incurable feet herpes, but I have jumped in the harbor.
Well, then you
Piece
need
of
to go
shit.
get yourself tested because that water is.
I get tested regularly.
Literally a swarm of STDs.
That shit is not good for
Oh
you.
It's
my
fucking disgusting.
They do
It
send you,
has an F rating for a reason.
they actually really do send you to University of Maryland Medical
Yeah.
Center when you jump in.
And they take you
again,
out of the water and won't touch you. They wear hazmat suits.
Again, I know from firsthand experience. Do yourselves
Oh
a
my
favor.
god, I would laugh so hard
Do
if you
not
were the
jump
dude
in.
I watched get arrested.
No.
I would laugh so fucking hard.
All right, so I'm going in. I'm going in on another story. We got a buddy. Mike Marinowski, and I don't care.
Oh my god, this is such a great story.
I'm just gonna tell this story on the pod. Mike, if you're out there, I hope you
Mook.
enjoy. I
Just
hope you
call
enjoy
him
this.
Mook. Just call him Mook.
Mook, okay. Mook and I lived together for a long time.
I also lived with Mook.
Yes, Mike Windsor did as
Yeah,
well.
I did for a little while.
He's a good friend.
Okay.
We went to West Virginia together.
Ooh, okay. Enough said.
He's a Polak, just
Ah,
like
yeah. My maiden name is Garczynski, so yeah, we know.
you. Marinowski.
Oh, bless it.
Yes,
Bless
yes. So he loves the vodka.
it. Oh, the vodka.
And he's down in Fells, and he's having a night where he's just going for it, right? He's really going for it. And at one point, he decides to take a moment to himself, and he's sitting on that dock across from the Pendry next to Bar Casino, that one that shoots out in the harbor, across from the Under Armour factory, right? And he's sitting there on that dock, and he's on one of like the little benches, and he's on his phone, and he says the way he tells the story is that apparently all of a sudden he's looking down at his phone and he drops it. But he drops it forward and it bounces and it goes right into the harbor.
Ooh.
And without thinking, he Michael Phelps swan dives after it, jumps right off the dock, right in after the phone, and he actually grabs the
Shut
phone.
up.
Swear to God, I don't know how. It's the middle of the night. He's wasted. And somehow, you know that dive's like 10 feet, right? He shoots off, somehow catches the phone, gets it. Now, he's now waiting in the water with the phone above his head, and he can't figure out how to get back onto the dock, right?
Jesus.
All of a sudden, this group of girls run over, and they go, there's a ladder down here, and they're screaming at him, and they like coach him where to swim. So you gotta imagine this. He's not just waiting in the water. He's now trying to swim, holding the phone over his head as he's swimming with one arm. And he swims his way down to this ladder. He climbs up, and he's now soaking wet. And he's wasted, and he's got this phone, and these girls are being super nice to him. They've never met him before, but they're like,
I mean, at that point, he's a fucking
They
superhero.
were like, can we help you? Can we help you?
Once
Is there
you
anything
dry
we can-"
off, baby.
So he goes, I gotta get home. I gotta get my phone and rice. And they were like, okay, do you want us to call you an Uber? He goes, no, I have my car parked right there. And he goes, but I can't drive. And they go, we'll drive it for
What?
you.
Are you fucking kidding me?
We'll drive it for you. So these three girls and Mike pile into his BMW.
It seems like a really good setup for one of those episodes of like how I got kidnapped.
Yeah. Well, again, when Mike interviews me for number 25, we'll tell the story about when I got kidnapped by an Uber. That's a good one, too.
You're an idiot.
And they broke into my house. That's a good one, too.
Setting him up.
These girls drove Mike's Beamer. He's in the back seat, drove him home to our apartment, dropped him off, parked his BMW, got out of the car, and called an Uber and went home.
Wow.
And
Sweet angel babies.
Mike puts his phone in rice, and the next day it works.
Wow.
It is one of the craziest phone save stories I've ever heard in my entire life. So
I'm
when
curious to see how big of the horseshoe he's got shoved up his ass.
Yeah.
Like, that's unreal.
Yeah, that's unreal.
He might have shit it out.
He
in
owns
the
a leprechaun.
recent months.
Keeps it in the basement. Like,
It's
that's
just
fucking
chained
ridiculous.
up, you know,
Yeah.
feeding it Lucky Charms
Every
every day.
fucking day, man.
Well, speaking of things in your ass, number 8, sex stories. You gotta, I mean, this is a supercharged industry when it comes to sex. What are you thinking?
You know, I don't really have any crazy ones myself personally, because
Yeah.
I was, most of the time that I've been in the industry, I was dating my now husband, high school sweethearts, hey. But I think one of the weirdest things that I ever did see that was like a weird sex story was 3 of my coworkers, because everybody fucks everybody in the service industry,
crazy.
whether it's I'm fucking you over or I'm fucking you on top of you. It's always something.
Fuck me over or fuck me good too?
Yeah, it's always something. So where our break room was, it was like where our secondary ice machine was, and it was like the good ice. It was like the Chick-fil-A little round icy guys.
Oh,
So I walk
man.
into the break room.
The one with the hole in it?
No. It's
The
like
donuts?
the nugget guys, like
Oh,
from
okay,
Roco.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the best ice. Let's be real. We could have a whole podcast just on the best
I
ice.
like the crushed ones.
You are getting really off topic.
I like All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Em, you're right.
Give it to him.
You're right. You're right. She's so
You
right.
told me.
She's so right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm going to shut up.
I walk into the break room and the ice thing is open. One girl's got her hands in the ice.
No.
The other one's got her ass in the ice.
Oh.
And one of my coworkers is just giving it to him from behind. And I literally walked in. So
I'm getting a little hot under the collar
especially
here.
as a girl, when if you walk into a restroom and you open the door, you go, oh shit, I'm so sorry if there's someone in there.
Yeah.
I open the door to the break room, see this happening, and go, oh shit, sorry, do you need anything? Why the fuck? My first instinct was be like, do you guys need water? Do you need to hydrate? Like, do you want a snack?
We just got a fresh bag of towels in. Does anybody need a rag?
Wait.
No,
So-
one of
so-
the girls, we'll call her Tiffany, she looks at me and she goes, I'll take a water. And I got it.
So wait, so there's a guy.
No, you didn't.
I 100%
you got her
swear to God,
water.
I went
You
and
went
I
and got
left
her
it
water.
outside of the
Oh
door.
my
They didn't need
God.
ice, obviously.
We did have to clean that ice well up.
Yeah, so one of the girls had her hands in the ice.
She had her hands in the
I
ice,
assume her
leaning
ass is
over.
out, right?
Yeah.
And the other
And the
girl's
other one
ass-
had her ass in
What,
the
was
ice.
she cooling down from
I'm
the
not
pounding
really
that she
sure,
had
and
received?
I didn't ask because I don't really want to know.
Yeah.
Because one of them was married.
Oh.
Oh, it was a scandal to end with
Oh, my
scandal.
There's a
Goodness.
wild.
There's a very clear reason why we asked this category, folks. And it's for stories like that.
Yeah.
So,
Fucking wild.
number 9, bar hazing, pranks, and games. This is Mike and I's favorite category, personally, because
Oh.
inevitably, when you work at a restaurant, you get bored,
Yeah.
and you just feel like,
You gotta Why are you looking at me like
Just trying to tee you up, baby.
Yeah, that's your goddamn job,
I
all right?
like to bring you in. You're my co-host. I like to make you a part of the pod.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm still reeling from that story.
My
I'm still
God.
thinking of how that all went down.
How much
The
blow
ass in
did
the
you
ice,
do last
the
night?
fucking hands in the ice,
Really not
the
enough.
glass of water. That was beautiful. My goodness.
So
I'm a caretaker at my core, so
I probably
I didn't know what else to do.
But no, seriously, this is our favorite category because number one, we love to fuck with people.
Yes.
And we especially love to fuck with people that we like, and see how they take it. That's really one of the things where you can
Wait,
tell.
are we still on question number 8?
That's really one of the things you can tell if you're going to be friends with somebody is how they take getting fucked with. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Can they take a joke?
exactly.
Can they give it back? We said, we always say on this pod, we have a couple themes. Like some of them are wash your hands,
Wash your fucking hands.
protect the innocent and the guilty, right? We always
Absolutely.
say that,
that
for
was
health.
my number one rule before. That's the first thing you told me when I was going to do this.
For health code violations, protect the innocent and guilty. Blue cheese over ranch.
What? I'm so glad you said that. We don't have to get off on a tangent here, but we have to ask you. We've missed this on so many.
We'll do it in a second.
Okay, fine. He's
Blue
I
cheese
won't
over
let you forget.
Blue cheese
I
over
promise.
ranch.
Okay.
I won't let him interrupt you again. I'm kidding.
So we have a lot of themes on the pod, and one of the themes is we just have to keep ourselves entertained. You know what I mean? So we always say the service industry is for everyone, literally every race, every creed, every color, man, woman. Old, young, it doesn't matter who you are, you can work in this business, but the one thing that you have to have is a decent sense of humor. You have to be able to take a joke.
Take some punches, yeah.
Yeah, because if you can't, you're going to be rolled out very quick.
Then
So
you're going to hate your life.
that's really what this category is about: is bar hazing, pranks, and games.
So the only time that I was ever bar hazed, I guess we'll say, or pulled a prank was we had one of those big iced tea pitcher things where you turn the nozzle on
And a girl's ass was in the iced tea maker.
No, fuck you, that was the ice. No.
I'm sorry.
No, so the water stream on that was never ending, and I didn't know that. So one of the girls said, "Oh, go empty the hot water."
I've heard this before.
I did that. I am not kidding you. It was a good 45 minutes because I am nothing.
Just
if
left
not-
it rotting?
Oh, no, I dumped out 9 buckets. Because I will never not finish a project. I'm nothing if not consistent.
That's a good one.
It was a really good one.
I might steal
It was
that
a really
one.
good one.
That's a
Nedra,
really
you're an
good
asshole,
one.
but I fucking loved you for that. And then the only other time that I got
Can we explain to the people how this works first?
Please, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a hot. Do you want me to do it?
No,
or
no,
you
please,
wanna do it?
please. Just
All right.
because
Shut
I don't
the
think a
fuck
lot
up,
of people.
Steve.
I just don't think a lot of people know how that works.
Yeah, so
Right.
there's one of those blue and red flip up switches where one
On the coffee pot,
Yeah, on the
usually,
coffee
yeah.
pot. So she told me that I had to go empty out the red, which is the hot water, and it's a never ending hot water system.
It runs to a water line
Yeah.
in the wall.
It's a water line connected to wherever else you get
Yeah,
water
hot
in a
water
restaurant.
heater,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I could have stood there for 17 days and would never have finished my hazing.
It's impossible.
So
You can't.
it was a really good one because it was also very innocent but very silly and very funny.
Yeah.
And I
That's
thought it
the great
was
thing,
good.
man.
Yeah, it was
You know,
silly
some-
and fun.
some of
and
the
it was good. It was good natured. It also
Yeah.
wasn't like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm gonna make you feel like you're a piece
Well,
of shit. For
no,
the
and
first
that's
2 weeks
also
that
what
you're
we
here.
talked about too. Most of the time, there's no malice. It's just we're gonna fuck
Yeah.
with you a little
We
bit.
have to.
We're gonna get you in the cut. We're gonna give you a hard time. But then guess what? In a couple months, you get to tell
best
somebody
friends
else,
now, right.
and you get to tell somebody else to empty out the hot
Exactly.
water.
So I play on a billiards team, and one of the guys on my team, he's a young buck. He's 21, 22 years old, and he just got his first ever restaurant gig. And I sit him down, and he's like, "Hey, you've been in the industry a while. Anything I should know?" I sat him down. I was like, "Listen, Trevor, listen to me."
Well, apparently you had 50 questions, so you probably had a whole fucking list for him.
I said, I didn't. It was probably.
Gauntlet.
His words were
hours.
coming out like the hot water and just wouldn't fucking stop.
He's probably sick of me talking about what he should do and shouldn't do. He's probably done with that. But I said, look, man, no matter what you do, you're gonna get fucked with. Just take it in stride.
Well,
that was my
also give it back too.
Oh yeah.
If you're quick enough
yeah.
and you can throw it right back at him, what did Brian say on his podcast? If they figure out the keg crusher, if they figure that out, that's a future bartender.
Oh yeah.
If they don't figure it out, they're a bar back the rest of their goddamn life.
That's right. That's right. You know what, Trevor? If you're listening to this, because I know you're a big fan of the pod, love you, brother. Sorry, sad to see you go from the team, but anybody who lives in Harford County, Maryland, go see Trevor at 510 Johnny's. He's an awesome server. He's got a luscious head of lettuce and a beautiful, beautiful little smile. So go visit Trevor, tip him big, He's at 510 Johnny's right in there in Bel Air. So, not to give a shameless plug, but he's been.
I'm still trying to get past the luscious head of lettuce thing.
I mean, dude, it's
Okay.
beautiful, and you see me right now. I got my head
You
shaved.
got a haircut.
What did the guy
Mike
keep
and I
saying last night?
Mike and I met a military boy last night
God,
who
he
was
such an asshole.
God, he was an asshole.
This has
I mean,
nothing to
I'm
do
not
with the
calling
military,
it's not
obviously.
it's
This
not
guy was
military
just a
thing.
fucking annoying asshole, and he wouldn't leave us alone.
And I'm sure he means well. It's just like,
I
you
don't
know,
give a shit.
he had some free time. He got
But
drunk.
but how did he keep referring to you?
He kept coming up to me, slapped me on the back. He goes, "How you doing, cue ball?" And
So original.
So, it's not-
Was he 83?
He was like
Christ.
22.
It's
probably.
not lettuce envy, but I'm just saying, dude. Trevor's got a head of hair like he plays hockey. I mean, that thing is flowing. So anyway,
Real snipe Sally, boys.
go tip the motherfucker. He's a good dude. So anyway, not to take up more time, let's go into number 10, firing and quitting stories. And,
What do we call it?
well, getting 86th.
I've never been 86.
Of course. I couldn't imagine that you had,
No.
to be honest.
I'm lovely. No, both the times that I've left my bar, I've given 2 weeks notice just because I feel respectable to do so.
It's
I've
classic.
sat my manager down and like had a conversation when I left Penny Black. Last week was my last shift, which was kind of a bummer, and I cried like 8 times. But when I called Eliza, who's one of the owners, on the phone, I was like sobbing. I felt so bad because they're a little understaffed. You know, it's not post COVID. We're still kind of in it, but like things are opening back up again, so they're definitely short staffed. And I felt horrible. Like I felt like such an asshole. And the people that have been there have been so good to me. So like I don't have any bad ones. I feel really boring for this category, but
No.
I've always left with like a really good. I can always go back there, and I want that to be that way because I've made so many friends at those places that I want to make sure that I can still go back without like
I love that.
royally screwing somebody.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have a different direction we can go for this category if everybody's okay to kind of take a little twist and turn.
Do it.
Just keep
Absolutely.
talking.
Okay.
Go on, man.
I'm just gonna throw it out
I'm
there.
ready.
Ranch or blue cheese?
For what?
Wings.
For
No.
wings?
Say nothing else.
Well,
So
that
for
is
wings-
No, for
important.
life. For fucking life, Emily.
Okay, first of all, don't yell. I don't know why I'm
Sorry.
going to yell
I'm
that.
sorry. This category gets me heated.
You raging
It gets
bitch.
me heated.
So this podcast, I thought Raging Bitch was supposed to be for me, but clearly
No,
it's not for you.
I'm feeling ornery today.
So you are ornery.
Yes. Ranch or blue
God
cheese?
damn. I'm like a fucking crocodile. So
Salt water.
I think definitely blue cheese for wings.
Yes!
I will say ranch to dip vegetables in though, but it's got to be homemade.
So
I don't want any of that bullshit cans from a giant 8-gallon tub. Fuck that.
the reason I
I want
bring
homemade with an immersion blender.
the reason I say
A fucking immersion
stick
blender.
blender.
You better put that immersion blender in there, motherfucker.
And I'm not picky.
the reason I say that this actually relates to this category is because if you say ranch and no blue cheese, you're gonna get 86 by
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my god, so I made it past bar hazing. Or
Yes.
bartender rant hazing.
You
Oh,
made- yes, you made.
bless me. I'm
you-
so proud of myself.
Yes, that's right.
Whatever.
So Mike and I have this theory. There's 4 categories.
Oh,
Okay,
Christ.
category number 1. There are the people that are indifferent. They like ranch. They like blue
They're
cheese.
sociopaths.
They could, actually,
If you can't make up your mind or have no preference, you're a fucking sociopath.
and that's your opinion. Honest to God, those people
I agree.
are not
I
the
agree with her.
I agree.
Those are not the people that piss me off. Okay.
I didn't ask if they pissed you off. I said that they're psychos.
They might be. They might be unstable for sure. So that's ranch and blue cheese.
You did. You got a snort. You got a snort.
Yes, we got a snort. There's category number 2, and these people are ranch only. They don't eat blue cheese. They hate blue cheese. They don't want to touch blue cheese ever. Those to me are the biggest sociopaths.
Okay, so then I have a query for you. Then my best friend's like deathly allergic to blue cheese.
Well, that's a whole different
That's
story.
Is that okay?
We're
though?
not yet.
Does
We're
she
not-
So does she?
No,
still
no, no,
do
You
no.
have an allergy.
We're not
Is she
unreasonable.
okay,
Yeah.
No, we're not
Just making
unreasonable. I mean, she's an exception.
She should still try it, but
She's an exception to the rule.
Oh, if your throat closes up, it's fine. We've got an EpiPen for you, babe. You're good.
You got category number 3.
Okay.
Category number 3 are your blue cheese lovers. Now, I will say this. I have never met anybody in my entire life that's a blue cheese lover that A, hates on ranch, and B, never eats it. So I think you're a good representation because everybody here today loves blue cheese. That's our primary go-to. But of course we'll eat ranch.
I will eat.
We're not.
I will
we're-
eat anything. I will dip.
We're not
bugs
saying
in ranch,
we're not saying
alright?
ranch is bad. The unfortunate thing is the ranch eaters are judgmental. The blue cheese eaters are not. We are not
Well,
evil.
to an extent, I kind of feel like as I've edited and listened to some of these episodes, I feel like we are more judgmental
No.
than anybody else.
No. Hold
a
on.
little bit,
What
right?
we are is we are sick of being persecuted. That's what it is.
We finally have a platform.
I
Alright,
feel
well, then I have a question.
I feel like a Christian in the early Roman Empire, and I got no problem with Caesar. But
Okay, so
don't
first-
hate on Jesus, baby. Don't hate
First
on
you
Jesus.
compared yourself to Jesus.
No, blue
you
cheese.
are the Christian
No.
empire.
What I'm doing now is I'm comparing blue cheese to Jesus, which I think is a fair comparison.
That's
I
fair.
think that is a fair
All
comparison.
right, so then I've got to ask you. I have a query for you.
There's a fourth, by the way. That's
Oh, well then do your
no,
fourth
no,
and then I'll
no,
give you
do
my
the query
first.
first.
Yeah.
Do the query.
So then it's okay. Do you prefer it that like do you want big chunks in your chunky blue cheese or not?
Yeah,
It's gotta be chunky.
I want chunky.
The
I want a
chunk-
thick with two
chunk.
C's. I want a Lizzo
chunk, yeah.
size blue cheese.
Thank
Yes.
you. The first
Yes.
the first
I want
the
Lizzo
first
in my
episode
blue
we did
cheese.
was Dirty Jim Martinis with blue cheese stuffed
Stuffed
olives.
olives. That was
Yeah.
my drink. That was
That's
how
your
we
drink?
started
That's
the
my
pod.
that's
how we
thank you.
started.
Like I
James
said,
Bond.
I'm a
That's
classy motherfucker, all right?
Believe it or
And
not,
apparently you're quite well read.
you know, Pittsburgh, Kansas dropped the H, didn't keep him from becoming a refined gentleman in this era. But all right, so number 4, there's a fourth category,
Ready.
and these are the people I have yet to meet. Okay, and I don't know if I want to meet this person. This is the person that hates ranch. And
I'm done. I'm
Oh.
out. I'm leaving.
Come
I'm gone.
back.
No,
Come
I
back,
hate it
Em.
here. I
Come
hate
back.
it here. I didn't know people like that existed in the world, and I'm uncomfortable.
They might. We haven't found them yet. I
hate it here.
We
I'm
might
gonna
be.
go
We
home.
might be talking about a unicorn, right? It might not even exist.
You know what those are? Those are pod people, so they're not actually humans. Those are like the Hillary Clintons, the
Yes.
pod people.
The
So
lizards.
this is actually a
The lizard people.
This is also
Wasn't that a South Park episode? Of course it
yes,
was.
yes.
Of course it was.
Well, David Icke. This is
I can't
actually
believe you just said his name on this fucking episode.
yeah. Go fuck yourself, David. So this is a great actual setup for a real cool piece of bonus content that Mike and I are going to be doing. And guys, we're going to be introducing.
Is it dirty?
No, I think you're going to like this.
It's always going to be a
Guys, we're going to be
Right,
introducing,
come on, let's be
we've been
realistic.
promising a lot of bonus content. I know a lot of you listeners have been very loyal. The end of the summer, okay? September 1st, we're going to be starting to introduce some of our bonus content. A lot of this is going to be extra little cuts we've done with our bartenders.
Mhm.
Mike and I are going to be doing interviews with other service industry professionals, chefs, strippers,
Mhm.
barbacks. We're going to do all kinds of cool things to try to give you a little bit more of a cut into the industry. But one of the things that we've been really excited to do is Mike and I came up with a great idea for the ranch and blue cheese debate.
Well,
What-
Steve came up with a great idea.
All right,
I just listened to it.
I'm gonna throw
Mike
him
just
credit.
said yes.
So what we're going to be doing is Mike and I, every now and then, are going to be getting together. He and I are going to get super drunk.
I'm
we-
down for that.
We're gonna get
So every day.
Yeah. So we're going to get super drunk, and we are going to call people at random, and we are just going to ask their opinion about ranch and blue cheese. And we're going to see where things go. Because if you know a controversial topic in your life, there might be none more than ranch and blue cheese. It is, I mean, it is the Middle East. It is the Jews and the Palestinians.
damn it.
I mean, it is a
You son
fucking
of a-
battleground.
You irreverent piece of shit.
It's
right?
a battleground. It's a battleground.
People are dying, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, people are dying over this.
So it's like blue cheese versus ranch crank yankers.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Speaks to
exactly
my
what we're
heart.
going to be doing.
Can you please call? And I'm
We're going to
putting
call
this
it
out
random.
there.
It's
No,
got to be at random.
I'm putting this out there on this recording because I think I have a very good idea, almost as good as my Mother Russia. I really think that if you're going to interview like cooks, barbacks, please call it the back of the house, please.
Yes.
Please call it the back of the house.
The back of the house.
That would be
pod.
How many?
So
This is,
good.
these are the. We've never done a high five on this podcast, and we've done several.
Like
this is
7
the
of
first fucking high fives of the podcast.
I feel so honored. I got to be here for the bet making. I got to be here
Yes.
for
What an
the high five.
what an
the
episode.
Mother Russia,
The Mother-
which I am. Well, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have the
I'm gonna
Irish.
try
The
it.
Russia.
Irish
I'm gonna
Russia.
have the Irish
You
Russia.
can't,
for
if you
sure.
have a Mother Russia, please do not ever speak to me again.
I'm going to try.
I have really enjoyed our time together, but don't ever call me again if you drink a Mother Russia.
Well, speaking of enjoying our time
Mother
together,
Russia.
usually what we say to people is that congratulations, you've made it through the gauntlet, but I'm going to say something different today.
Okay.
You slayed the gauntlet,
Yeah.
Oh,
girl.
you're so
Made-
welcome.
You have absolutely crushed this
Made the
thing.
gauntlet your bitch.
You
is what
did.
did.
I feel stronger coming out of this. I feel like I'm ready to take on the world. I feel like I feel like a more independent woman because of this experience.
Those are the raging bitches talking, is what it is.
Life's gonna be a breeze after this. So,
I mean,
before we get you out of here, we're gonna do our last little section, which we call the cleanup. We call it our how's our driving because, again,
which is funny too because you should.
I did bring my own chauffeur.
You really should.
I was smart. What did I do today, Steve? I brought my own fucking chauffeur.
Yes,
Thank
she
you,
did.
husband. I love you.
She pulled up in a whip. You know, she
Shout
popped
out to-
it.
I put a whip. It's a fucking Xterra. It is not. That is not a whip. It's a brick. Come on now.
It looks good in my driveway. I'll tell you what. I mean, it's better than most of the cars we got parked out there. No, but we call this how's our driving because, again, as we said at the top of the show, Mike and I are not good at this. And
Yes,
we
you
are.
Oh my God, be nice to my friend Mike and Steve.
We are trying to get better. And so one of the things that we've been really trying to do is we want to give you a lot of girth.
God
A
damn.
wide berth, if you
Yes,
will.
a wide
Her
berth.
husband's right outside.
Wide
Steve.
berth, wide girth. No, we really just want to give you some space now to tell us what we've missed. Are there questions we could be asking, or would you like to share some recommendations of what we might want to ask on the show? Like, maybe it's a bar or restaurant that you recently went to that you really enjoyed. Maybe it's a cocktail that you've been recently drinking you really enjoyed, or an alcohol or a beer that you really like. Give us some recommendations on the show, on just the restaurant industry, anything that you want to kind of guide us on here. This is your time to shine.
Oh, I've got a good one, I think. So, as I think a really good question to ask people in the service industry is, as a service industry worker, what has been your worst experience being waited on? Or when you have been sitting at a bar, tell me the worst experience
And how'd you handle
how
it?
did you handle it?
Yes.
Because my resolution to whenever I have really shitty service is to wildly overtip.
Yeah, I mean,
Because,
Really?
Oh, every fucking time. Because I'm going to say to your face, hey, you were incredibly fucking rude to me.
Wow.
And I'm in the industry as well, and there was no reason to be so fussy. So you're welcome, because I am that asshole that wants to be loved by everybody. And that's just a huge, big old southern slap in the fucking face.
That is so awesome. Yeah, you tip them
It's
great.
the nicest, but like most degrading way.
It's the reverse of
That
the
sounds really
verbal
mean. I promise
tip.
I'm a nice person.
The verbal tip of you did a great job tonight,
but
and then they don't tip you. And I don't think it's
you're my favorite server ever.
Yeah.
And
Right,
here's
and then it's $3.
Right.
And you said it on the other episode. I don't always think it's because they didn't enjoy their service. I just think they're fucking cheap. And they're like, this is good enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you did a great job, but apparently, you're
think-
going to pay your rent with this fucking compliment.
Now,
Fuck yeah.
In
And
a
I think is like from a service industry perspective, how fucking cool is that to get that perspective? Or as a service industry worker, what's the best experience you've ever had at a bar or a restaurant? Like, how did they make your experience so fucking good? And then what did you pick up from that experience that you've added into your...
Okay, so can I interject really quick?
Please.
Because since you've said that, there's this place called Cafe Del Rio in Pittsburgh, fucking Kansas. And it's just a little...
Pittsburgh, Kansas?
Pittsburgh,
That's where it's
Kansas.
from?
That's where I'm from.
No
Your
H?
H?
No H.
Is that
on
why
the
you said
end.
drop the
No
H?
H
Okay.
on the end. But I remember we went there for a business meeting, and there were like 6 or 7 of us. And it was lunch rush, busy as hell. And I know how hard it is to wait on multiple tables at a single time.
Right.
This fucking girl, I don't know if she was I don't know what the fuck she was doing with her life. She fucking killed the service. She was there anytime you needed something, you looked up, boom, she was there. And then she was off waiting on other tables.
But not like hovering.
No.
Yeah,
She just
like good.
absolutely knew when she was needed.
Yeah.
And she took care of us. Always had, you're eating spicy food, always had full glasses of water. And I made sure to leave her not only a great tip, but I went to her manager and I was like, you need to know.
Oh, yes. I am such a Karen, but in a good way. I'm like, can I please speak to your manager? Because I have to tell them how wonderful you were.
Yeah,
me too, because whenever that's happened to me, it makes my fucking week.
Yes.
So, there's
absolutely.
one.
I told the manager, I was like, she's a fucking ace.
She's outstanding.
She is outstanding, and she
I'll do
killed
that
her job.
even more so that person gets better sections.
Yeah,
Same.
and absolutely, yeah.
You need to empower her. But there's another layer to this, and we call it the pity theory.
Mhm.
All right? We've been talking a lot about this in the pod. One of the things I'd love to see happen is for a bartender or server to do a social experiment where intentionally, I'm not saying giving bad service, I'm not saying being rude, you can still be attentive, but every single table, make a critical mistake.
Like drop a drink.
Drop a glass, drop a plate, trip, fall, spill something on somebody, spill something on yourself. Do it for...
Forget an order.
I'm talking about every fucking table. Do it and see what happens to your tips. Because I'll tell you, I have made mistakes in many different situations in the industry. And every time I do, because I actually do care and I'm working hard and I will do whatever I have to do to make it right. I don't care if I have to pay for the mistake. Like, seriously. Like, if I have to comp the food off and my manager won't comp it, I'll pay for it. I don't care.
I'll do whatever I have to do to make this mistake right. I get tipped better.
Me too. Oh my God. Yes, I was going to say that too.
So it's the pity theory.
Yeah.
I would love to
Either
see somebody
pity-
play this out as a social
I
experiment.
don't know necessarily if it's the pity, but I think if you own up to the fact that you made the mistake and you're like, I'm so sorry, and you take accountability for it, people
Right.
respect you more, and they're like,
We gotta come up
oh,
with
I
a good
see
name.
deeper.
We gotta
I
come
see
up
like
with
a
a good name.
deeper.
That's-
It's kind of
well-
like the people misconstruing service industry workers as like that we're not intelligent or that
Yes.
we're not
Yes.
hardworking or whatever.
Or
they think.
accountable.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
level
So
of
when you
empathy.
Or
hold
mature
yourself,
in some way, right.
You hold yourself accountable for a
Yeah.
fuck up that you make, and they're like, "Oh, I really appreciate you doing that. Yeah, I might be a little pissy that I've got to wait an extra 12 minutes for my food, but like, you just gave me a free drink, so what do I care?"
Yeah, well, and that's really
I love that theory.
That's an integral part to that theory is you can't just spill a drink and be like, "Oops, sorry." You've
got to have the
genuinely have to
personality
say
to-
you, and that's why I think people like this is great that you brought this up because most people get tipped so well because they genuinely feel bad. They're trying to provide good service, and then something fucks up, and they are genuinely upset about it.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did that. I'm so sorry that your food's taking longer than it should be. And then they're like, you know what? I'm out eating whatever, but obviously you're trying to. I'm getting off track.
No,
here.
you're not. You're not. No. I think that was great. I would just love to see how that would really play out if somebody really did it as a social experiment.
We got to come up with a pit bull for it.
Yeah, pity.
We're
theory
gonna
is
have
not right.
T-shirts that
'Cause
say
when you
"Drop
said-
drinks, get cheddar."
Yeah.
When you said pity theory, I instantly thought of pit bulls. I don't know why that's where my mind headed, but I was like, oh, I have 2 of them. You want to talk about my dogs too?
Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
Maybe it's the pit bull theory because a lot of times pit bulls get a bad rap for all of these things that people think that they know about this dog, which are not always true. These dogs may be making mistakes that aren't really their fault,
They're the best.
right? So maybe
always
pit bull
been
theory.
told
I don't know.
that.
We gotta workshop
Okay,
it.
I got before you. I know you're getting ready to
No,
move
that's fine.
on.
That's fine.
Steve's like, we're taking too long. No,
we're not.
He's not.
It's been awesome.
So I've got to say this, and because we didn't really cover this on Brian's episode, but this is something that I like to do when I have really bad service. Still leave them a great tip. But I explained this on the last episode. You take a pint glass, fill it with
Such a
water.
dick.
You put a good tip inside
Oh,
it.
that's shitty.
Then you put the coaster on it and you flip it over.
That is another level of tomfuckery that I don't think I can get behind.
Fucking cocksucker.
Because that's straight
That's
up like,
hilarious. And Brian
Well,
was like,
what if-
I'll just let the busboy deal. No, fuck you, man. That's your
no,
tip.
what if you don't notice it and like one of the other bartenders that wasn't serving that person comes up and picks it up? You're
Then
a fucker.
then they're gonna ask, why did you?
Absolute
What did you
fucker.
do to that poor table? Why did they do that?
You're
All right?
86th. You're 86th. You're done. All
I
right.
made it longer than the host. Fuck, this is great.
All right, guys. So we're gonna move on to our last little thing. This is our wrap up. Just a few closing questions.
Yeah.
So, I know you're out of the business, right? But we talked about
Especially though.
you might be getting roped back in, and so we always like to ask, why do you still do this? The AKA.
Why do you hate yourself?
Why do I hate myself? There's a fucking list. So, I think I said it before. The main reason I do it is because I love the social interaction, especially when
Yeah.
COVID really, like, I work from home from 9 to 5. My husband travels Monday through Friday, so like I'm literally by myself Monday through Friday, which I do love. Don't get me wrong, but going back to bartending really gave me a sense of like myself back.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, because it was I'm such a social person that being on lockdown
I
for
couldn't
over
tell.
a year, I know I'm so awkward, right? I mean, I am awkward as fuck, but at least I'm not shy. But I think that I genuinely was excited to go back into the industry because I missed that social interaction.
Yeah.
I missed being able to hear stories and to just like, I mean, to be perfectly honest, 9 times out of 10, a guest is going to ask you about yourself. And clearly I love to fucking talk about myself. So
When you connect with somebody, especially when
it's such a good feeling.
and you know what? When it feels even better, like sometimes you have a regular that over time you get to build a good rapport with. But the best feeling is when you've met somebody for 10 minutes and you're already like best friends, like you and I. You sat down at my bar. I remember exactly.
I
where
gave you so much shit.
Dude,
I remember
bad.
so mean to him.
I remember
Thank God.
exactly where you and Ben sat, and I knew 10 minutes in. I was
So
like,
mean.
I fucking love this girl.
I was so mean.
She's coming
He
on the
made
pod.
me a crush, and I was like, "This is fucking terrible."
Yes.
Can I have it?
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
I was like, "This is fucking
Snort,
terrible." Can
snort,
you
you
remake
motherfucker.
it?
No, I'm not doing it.
Yes, you are. No, but it's amazing. It's amazing. There's nothing like it's palpable that energy. When
Yeah.
you meet that person and you're like, oh my god, we're gonna be friends. Aren't we? Holy shit.
I
this
mean,
is
I have
amazing.
regulars at Penny Black who like shed some tears when I was leaving,
Yes,
like
man.
Mike and Jan and
It's
Serge
emotional.
and Virgil
I
and
know we-
Chris and
We
all the
always
other
do
kids.
a trauma parlor, but I feel like we should have the white stripes. I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Yes, everybody else is singing. Yes. All right, last question. If you opened a bar, what would you call it? And earlier, you had a great idea.
Yeah,
Honest to God, I would love a bar that was fully padded, so I could never hurt myself.
Yeah, this was off mic.
So before we got started today, I mentioned this, and this is actually something that weirdly I've thought about for like since I was like a junior in college.
Love
so
it.
years.
Love it.
I think it would be so cool to have a bar, and this is probably so not PC anymore or just ever, but it would be called the psych ward, and every drink, like a signature cocktail, would be like schizophrenic episode, high functioning anxiety, which would definitely be Red Bull and Jameson or something wild.
Clinical depression.
Yeah, clinical depression.
The bipolar cooler.
The bipolar breeze is what would happen.
The bipolar breeze.
And then I would want like those big overstuffed padded bar stools and the what do they call them? The booths. Why can't am I stroking out with the fuck? I've only had 2 beers.
The stroke.
The stroke.
You must have had too many epilepsies.
God damn it.
But I think that would be so cool. And then every time that somebody got drunk at the bar, you'd ring the bell and say that they were at the loony bin.
Nice.
That would
love
be so
it.
good.
Now, could we have everybody dress as Nurse Ratchet from One Flew
Not
Over the
everybody.
Cuckoo's?
Everybody's got to dress up as weird shit.
Yeah,
like you can't
like
walk
the
in-
Joker,
Absolutely.
like the Joker nurse outfit. That would be cool. Yeah.
Or like a weird episode of Saw.
I
Something
love it.
awful.
Honest to God,
Just
dude, I
something
would love to
wild.
go to that
Yeah.
place. That would be such a cool
Yeah,
thing.
you can totally be friends. We're going
That's-
to Looney Bin together. You
That's
know?
we
What's
are.
that movie? Grandma's Boy. I'm fucking going to the loony bin.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
Brother.
What is it? I can't drive to the devil's house
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that.
It's like, what's that ringing in my ears? Is that a tumor? Do I have
God,
a
they
tumor?
brought a fucking
I'm
lion.
I'm way too stoned to drive to the devil's house. Drive, monkey,
I
drive!
almost shit my fucking pants. I love that fucking movie.
All right, we can quote
Well, and
movies.
also, we do need to qualify really quick, because like she said, politically correct. Like, this is not a shot at people
Mental
with
health.
mental
That's
disorders.
no.
Because most of the people who work in the service industry have a mental fucking
Let's
health
be vulnerable.
issue, all
Let's
right?
be vulnerable. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here to say everybody on this pod is managing their mental health every fucking day.
I'm a
it
huge
is-
lover of therapy.
And guys, it is something that you're managing every day. And I love talking to you know what? This pod is cathartic. It's getting our stuff out. Going to a bar and talking to your bartender, talking to your friends is cathartic. That's part of the mental health.
I genuinely think that if, again, with the psych ward bar, I think I would call my bartenders therapist because
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
especially, well, men, I feel like men especially, you talk to female bartenders like they're your
Drop
therapist.
your problems at the
Women talk to hairdressers like therapists, and then I will lay any of my shit on anybody that will listen. So God bless anyone that has ever met me in the last 25 years. I'm like, sorry, love you, mean it.
They say it's the bartenders and the barbers
Yep.
that know the
Absolutely.
secrets of a community.
Heck yeah.
That's the truth. So
This
now,
has been so fun.
It
I've had an
is.
absolute blast.
I've had such a good
This
time.
is
Thank
why
you guys.
we keep doing this, because it's so much fun.
Thank you guys for having me.
Emily,
This is such a good time.
you fucking crushed. You've been such a gem. Thank you for all your stories. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up here?
Just honestly, if you're ever thinking about getting into the service industry, I genuinely think that every single person in the world should be in the service or the retail industry at least once in their life.
Yeah.
Because I think that you will never meet
ahead.
friends ever like you meet in the service industry.
ahead.
Your family in a restaurant, unfortunately, whether you and it's so true because half the time you fucking hate your family, but you like have to love them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a perfect kind of culmination of that. But if you ever have the opportunity to, and I think that this is something that we're, very privileged to be able to do. But if you're ever able to go to a bar and you can kind of tell when someone's having a bad day, leave them a ridiculously good tip.
Yeah.
If you are
Nice.
able to,
Nice.
the way that you will change someone's life who, like when I first got into the industry, I couldn't fucking pay my rent. I was eating rice cakes every day. and
Dude,
an avocado
you
a
should have
week,
seen
and that was
Mike.
it.
You should have seen Mike and I. There was a time where it was ramen
Yeah,
only at the
if
house.
you're able.
Mike and I paid our rent with change so
Same,
many times.
yeah.
I used to have to buy extra large manila envelopes to fit all manila envelopes to fit all the cash and
You're
all the
not going
coins.
to brunch after this. You need a nap.
Yikers. Well, thank you.
But no,
Look,
this has been amazing, guys. Thank you for having me.
we've had
This
so
was
much fun.
Yeah.
Guys, before we wrap up here, please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Patreon. Check us out on YouTube. Emily's episode's going to be coming out in a couple weeks, but we got a lot of great new content that's coming to you. Brian,
Emily's episode is coming out in a couple weeks, he says.
As I'm sitting here.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What do you-
As
do
they're
that.
listening to
They're
the
listening.
episode.
oh, that's a good point. My God. I
am a little bit off my game
Cut
right
that.
now.
Cut that.
You know what?
First morning episode,
Guys,
ladies
look,
and gentlemen.
I've been lactating since the intermission because I'm ready to go have a Mother
Mother
Russia.
Russia.
So look, go fuck yourselves. It's time to say goodbye. Emily, thank you
Thank you
again.
so
This
much.
has been so fun.
See ya!
Bye.
Hey everyone! Thanks for listening along. Holy hell, that was a great fucking time. Emily slayed the goddamn
Jesus,
gauntlet.
man. I've never laughed so hard on one of these pods before.
We really hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, we release new episodes every goddamn Monday, no matter what.
At least we're trying.
And a big shout out, as always, to our friends at Trauma Parlor for their song, The Fast One.
So good.
The fucking theme music to our fucking podcast. What a wonderful treat that they've given us. So, if you like their songs, check them out. They're on Spotify, they're on Facebook, and show them some love.
Go show them some love. Quit fucking around. And if you want to be one of our regulars, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at BRP Drink Along. You can listen along on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify at the Bartender Rant Podcast. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. I mean, we really actually would love if you guys did that. That's what drives us up the charts. That's how we can share this pod with more and more people. And honestly, God, we really need personal validation.
We absolutely do. Also, it's fun interacting with you guys on the social media. A
It's
lot
so
of
much
you have
fun.
gotten our regulars are on there and commenting, and it's a lot of fun. We really appreciate your feedback. And if you want to be one of our regulars, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at BRP Drink Along.
I just did that.
Okay.
Talk to him about being a VIP
So-
listener instead.
We'll cut this out, maybe.
No, keep going.
So if you want to be one of our VIP
VIP listeners, there you go.
I'm not drunk this time, goddammit, I just can't read. Please subscribe to the Bartender Rant podcast on fucking Patreon. VIPs are always going to have a seat at the bar. You're going to get access to bonus content. You're going to have a chance to vote on new episode content, and you're going to receive a 10% discount on all of our merchandise. And if you subscribe on this episode, you're going to get a free Mother Russia mixer sent right to your door. All right.
Now, I know we've talked a lot about merch, guys, but we are very close to having our Click to Print company up and running, so look out for that.
I
We'll
just
give you more
want, I'm going to
information.
burn this podcast to the ground t-shirt.
Yes.
I want it so bad.
If you want to be a big tipper,
AKA one of our Bozels.
feel free to make a donation on PayPal under the Bartender Rant Podcast at gmail.com. Look, Mike and I love doing this. I
It
mean,
really
it's-
is. It's so much fun.
It's a blast. I mean, you just saw on this past episode how passionate we get about it when it goes the way that we want it to go. When it just feels so fun and lighthearted and we're laughing the whole time. We love this industry and we want to bring you great content, but keep in mind, this is not our day job. So with your help, we can keep the stories coming and interview bartenders from coast to coast.
Yeah, give us that paper. And you know what? I think it's the pity tip. I think the more we fuck up, the more people are going to
That's
want
right,
to
that's
help
right.
these fucking idiots out.
That's right, Johnny Papers. Johnny 2 times. Get the papers, get the papers. And as always, don't just listen along,
Drink along.
Like you